Hi, Falaso Shelley. Welcome. Welcome, guys. Falason, how do you do? How was your weekend? How was your day? I hope I pronounced your name quite well. Please welcome to the live today with the hope that we will try and unbundle, if we should use that word, the psyche of a blesser and a blessee. Shelley, are you well, my dearest sister? Thank you so much, guys, for your support all the time. I know that I normally don't do. Hi, Ingoma. How are you? I know that I normally don't do a lot of lives, but it's now this is my second weekend where I've done a 12 o'clock one, and I hope that we are able to achieve what I believe that the Lord has laid in one's heart. Oh, Yengoma, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah, I suppose, Shelley, the Friday was awesome, and there was something awesome and good that actually transpired out of it. No, I am Yingoma. Very well. What does Ingoma, or Ingoma meaning a song? Am I right? Yeah, Ingo. I hope it's a song, if I know my Zulu quite well. So, friends, family, you're welcome to the live, and today we will try and unbundle the topic of a blesser and a blessee. I hope that I've also invited a few people. I've invited Kwanzaa. I've invited Koki. I've invited as well Hakim, who when he comes, he'll host this live with me because of his background. Oh, Mangoi. That's your clan. That's your clan name. Mangoi. Yes, that's what it means, but the initial use of this is from the reverse of, oh, wow. That's beautiful, man. That's beautiful. So I hope you can also sing, Ingoma. I hope you are able to hit that note, man. Yeah. So we're trying to unravel and bundle the psyche of a blesser, and as well as the psyche of the blessee. Thank you so much, Yuji. I will certainly be able to follow you back. Thank you so much. The psyche of a blesser and as well as a blessee. But as I said, I have invited Kwanzaa because I think I entered into one of his lives, and of course in that live there was basically a discussion around what men that are a bit affluent, that are affluent, are able to do once they have the money. I mean, the engagement into the activities where they would even get to a point of paying a woman something like 5,000 just to be able to sleep with them. And yeah, so we will just wait a little for Kwanzaa as well to be here, so that we begin to hear the better part of the story. But also, if anybody has actually experienced that, so that we get to a point of understanding what is the thinking around what they are able to do. So I need to say, let me welcome you guys on this live, and remember, this is more like an interactive kind of a live. We engage with people. We need to understand, and without really judging people, just to be able to understand why the thinking that we actually have. But beyond that, if there's anybody who's able to cry for help, remember that we tend to be crying for help, but we don't even know how to do so, precisely because of an element of pride. But we want somebody to be able to allow us to be convicted, so that we get to a point of acknowledging that we need that help. So that's basically my thinking, and I might actually be wrong, because sometimes people flaunt, they flaunt, boastful about what they actually have, and to a point that, and sometimes maybe because of the boasting, it's because there's also those that are creating a platform that they should be able to do so. So I also understand that Molo Bree, welcome sis, welcome. I appreciate your support, guys, and it doesn't go unnoticed. So I must say that Brenda, we basically would love to talk about this issue of I don't know, for some people would say that there's a degrading of women, a degrading of mothers, but also others would say that but because I remember that the argument was that no, but if somebody is able to close that tab from being able to open, it should be the sisters, the mothers, our mothers, the future mothers, who need to close that particular tab. But also, I love what Hakim said last when we were talking last week about Father's Day, and of course we were at a point where we spoke about the relationship that fathers actually had. And I think maybe this would also be an extension of the discussion that we actually had, where the relationship that fathers had with their children, and also the decision-making process that the relationship actually had with our girl child or even boy child, that made makes people to be able to make choices in terms of whether choosing a partner, choosing a partner in terms of building a tribe with. So I must say that there is a cause. I believe that there is a cause and effect. And what Hakim said in the live, he said, guys, I think it's high time. Koki, welcome. Koki, I see that Koki is here now. Welcome, bro. What he said was, which is a reverse of what I actually would say. I remember saying this in Koki's live, where I said that women, it doesn't matter how you feel about a man, but please make sure that you close the sparge. So don't allow a man to be able to access a sparge until they do the right thing. So and Hakim said something very powerful. He says that as men, what we need to be able to do is that we need not unzip our zip, so that rechaneka, as he puts it, is rechaneka PI. So and I'm thinking that good day, man, good day, and I'm thinking that we have to think thoroughly about that, but I also understand that there are people who have an edge to do so precisely because of what they have to be able to flaunt, because then it means that some people, and I'm just asking myself, what would push somebody to be able to want to do cloth with any other woman that they actually choose to, precisely because they have the money to do so? Is it what could be that pushes them to get to that point? And I'm not saying that there are men who would not do that even if they do not have the money, But I'm saying there are those that would actually pay for those particular services, but also the services are also created, which means there is a foundation that is laid that says there is a demand and as well as supply. So which means those that are able to supply for that particular demand, they actually make that particular demand to actually grow, because it grows for people that are able to pay for that particular service. So I really want to get to a point where I understand the thinking around that, and yeah, that's basically what we're going to be able to discuss, the issue of the thinking, the psyche of a blesser, and as well as the psyche of a blessee. What causes the blessee to be able to provide of such a service? Is it because, in any case, even if the people are not paid, they would rather be paid for it, because they would literally be able to, hi Tando, good day, Tando. It precisely because they would do it anyway without being paid. So they're doing it because now they are paid. Could it be that there is lack, or could it be that it is not lack, but is it also, as somebody Bunny says, low self-esteem and feel their money will work for them? Or on the side of the blessee, is it lack, or is it the love of money to a point that they would do anything that that would actually begin to gratify their need for that particular money? So I'm just thinking and grappling with that, and I want everybody who is here, who's able to be able to help as regards that particular element. And yeah, so Brenda says, bless her. Hello, Lincoln. Thank you so much for coming. Being in the life. And Bunny, thank you so much. Tando, thank you so much for being part of the life, and I hope that the discussion will also be able to get to a point where we are able to understand, but also if needs be, we are able to help if somebody is able to need help. And Brenda says that a blesser is a person that uses money to control their environment. Okay? And then Lincoln says, as a blesser is using money to buy some sort of, a blesser can actually use his money to be able to buy some sort of image. Will it be, Lincoln? Will it be an image that they want people to be able to hold on to, or something, an image that they would be actually proud of at some point? Good afternoon, La Portia. You're welcome, sis. You're welcome, D. Good day, D. Thank you so much. A blessee is a person that gives up any control to be controlled. Okay, quite interesting. Let me see. Somebody has just requested. Lincoln is here. Lincoln is here. Let me accept Lincoln. Come. So guys, you're welcome on Uncle B's live. We're trying to find out and unravel and unbundle the questions that we would normally be able to have. Lincoln, good day, sir. How are you?
I'm good, and you, sir?
Thank you so much for being part of this live. Yeah, thank you so much, man, and welcome.
Yeah, I'm trying to busy type out and well articulate what I'm trying to say, but I think
And
as
it's
if
quite
I'm not
difficult.
able to. Yeah, I find it difficult. But anyway, I just want to
Yeah,
bring out this
just hang
point.
on. Just hang on. I see Mom Paul, or Mom the one. Okay. She says it's mostly about lifestyle when it comes to the blessing. Mom Paul, are you able to request so that we unbundle that particular part? Let's you. I think there are two circles. She beautiful. There are two circles or two human beings, blue and pink. So you can request from there. All right. Yeah. Lincoln, over to you, man.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. So my thing is this, and now that's how I view it. And I'd like us not to take it to the extremes, because when you
Yeah.
go to the extreme blessers and then you go to the extreme blessees, this is where we get the lines get blurred a lot, and it becomes extreme. You know,
Okay.
extremely being controlled, extremely giving money. All that. But like on the surface, generally on the things that we see on a day-to-day basis, or those type of relationships that we can to see, we can relate a little bit with. As it works like this, the way I see it. As a man, I have
Lincoln, where are you guys? It seems like you're breaking now. Are you still there? No, but my network is still fine. I think it's Lincoln's network, which is giving him hassles. Um, the one you can request. Let's see how far it actually takes us. All right. Let's see how far it actually takes us. Kwanzaa is here. Welcome, Kwanzaa. Oh gosh.
Hi, Uncle.
I don't know what happened here.
How are you?
Sianda, could you switch off there? Because I'm trying to talk to people here. I don't know how I thought you are coming in to be able to discuss. Can you please, man? How do I remove you see now? How do I remove the other fellow here? How are you, bruh?
Hey, Ja.
Do you mind switching off?
Me.
Do you mind switching off? I don't know how I got
Okay, I don't mind.
disconnected. Yeah. Um, I don't know where Kwanzaa ended up, but yeah, most probably he'll come back. And yeah, guys, the discussion is around the issue of a blesser and as well as blessee and the mindset thereof. And I think what Lincoln was actually saying was that we don't have to take it to the highest level, but just to come to the lower level where things are actually happening, because in the highest level it's quite extreme, and precisely the reason why I'm having this particular life literally. And I know that we can discuss what he actually thought, what his thinkings are around that. But the reason why we had to get to this particular life, it is precisely because of the extremes that we actually see, which is and we are I mean, the question that I'm asking is that what is that is actually fueling this particular extreme. Yengoma, I'm not so sure if you'd like to be able to come, so that anyone that would want to, Brenda, if you are able to, or anyone, so that we start the conversation thereof, and let's hear what other people are actually thinking, so that we can unravel the mysteries around the blesser blessee, kind of, and maybe what we need to start with is, what is that you understand about the blesser blessee kind of situation. I if you may just request, so that we are able to talk about this issue. I don't know if people are actually experiencing load shedding, because it's that time of the year where
Hi,
load
Uncle
shedding
B.
is actually hitting it. Yingoma, how are
Sunborn.
you?
I'm good, thank you.
Sabona
How are
unjani?
you?
No,
Ngiyaphila.
couldn't be better, man. Yaphila nami.
Um, I'll just go. Like my thoughts are always on regarding why do they use money. Um, I think, for example, I'll just go back to high school to, especially a group of guys that were not looking the part, because it comes from the wounds that we get
Okay.
from the exchange of, you know, from school, from childhood, from home. So when you are psychologically feeling unaccepted, they then use money to fuel the feeling of acceptance. They use
So
money as a catalyst. That's what I'm
so
thinking.
so you're saying, if I understand you quite well, you're saying
Yeah.
that they are dealing with rejection, all right?
Yes. Yes.
So that they begin to feel like it is something that they could, the money that they use is to be able to show that they've actually arrived. You have rejected the good.
Yes, yes,
Okay,
yes.
okay,
Because
okay.
because I've seen, for example, from the exchange, especially on my age group. I don't know about other age group, but I'll talk about 90s kids.
Or
90s
90.
kids. Yes, I'm a 90s. I've seen my age group. For example, the guy that didn't look the part when we were in high school and all the it girls rejected
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
They then make sure that they excel so much in their lives. So when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to when then comes time now they want to marry, they'll be like, no, I don't want to get married, I don't want to do this, I don't want that, I just wanted to be a bachelor. And then now they then use women because that wound of not being the guy that would be considered for dating, they now feel like I've arrived, So another thing, that one of the reasons why I became part of the live, I wanted to know even the deeper, reasons. Even though I said it's a rejection, but I want to know in psychological, yeah, understandings.
Yeah,
But I don't know
yeah.
it further, Uncle B. But it was just a matter of seeing how also they don't love these women that they give money to. They don't care about them. It's about them and their ego. And they will make sure that they show you where they are. For example,
Okay.
when they're going out, they'll make sure that they show videos. They don't go out and not take a video.
Hmm.
So it's a matter of a status for them.
Hmm. Wow.
Yeah.
So, 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 in essence, we are calling them blessers, but they are not necessarily blessers.
No, they're not. It's just
Okay.
kids that are crying for help.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I won't go deeper in terms of uktwala, the psyche of people that choose uktwala, because I'm on the traditional spect of things.
Okay.
I am more of a healer and whatnot, but I know the depth of when a person decides uktwala, how do they how do they get to that decision? But I would rather just leave it on blessers. So yeah.
Um, I don't know why you're not giving us that particular information. Uh,
Because I
I
know for a
and I would
fact.
love, I would also, because remember, and which is something that I did not mention, but I
Yeah.
remember in one of the discussions I had, I think it was in Kwanzaa's live, I spoke about that as well. But with you being there on the trenches, I
Yeah.
suppose you could be able to explain it far much more better than I could or should or would
Yeah.
rather,
Yeah.
right? So, and I'm saying maybe that is why I'm saying let's unravel, all right? So, which
Yeah.
therefore says we will go to the deepest or even where things are actually hidden, because
Yeah.
at least even people who do not know that, they would actually get to a point where they begin to understand what makes people to even get there, you know.
Yeah.
And of course, I love what you said, to say people are it might be that people are actually crying for help because they don't know how to come out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um, in terms of, I'll just go on the surface level because I
yeah,
know for a fact, people tune on lives without even tuning really here on, where we can see them. And then
yeah,
they take information and use that information because at the end of the day, we have scholars that look at tendencies and then claim to have a gift, to have, certain abilities which they don't really have, but they do that to scam other people. So I'll just go on a surface level to protect certain things in the sphere of healers. Please allow me to do so, Uncle B, because you know traditional healing has certain things that we always have to protect. But
oh,
just
okay.
on the, yeah, just on a surface level, abantu that decide ukutwala, it goes back to the traditional ways of living. Each and every home has a healer, has a light, which that would be a human being of that particular home. Hence, for example, when you go consult to a healer cannot just heal your home. If, for example, the healer of your home or your clan passed away long time ago and she chose not to be reborn, in a physical, we then consult that healer. And then I'm able to actually speak to her and say, how do I heal your clan? So abantu that decide ukthwala, it's people that choose not to go via that healer. Meaning, for example, each and every family, kuhlezi khona ugogo okhuleka the whole family, right? So mabe choose ukthwala, they choose the shortcut of getting their clans reaches. So it's also a wound. When you choose to run away from your clan, you are choosing not to go ngemithetho yasekhaya. So it's either the clan itself did not treat you the way you choose to be treated. Because masizalwa, we also have the certain things ukuthi mina angeke ngikhothamele uzibanibani. She's not in my league. You get what I mean? Mofuna isibusiso sekhaya. Kuzoba khona your pride and your ego that will say, mina angeke ngikhothamele uzibanibani. So when you choose ungakhothamele uzibanibani, that's when then you choose to run away. Bese uzokhetha ukthwala, because ukthwala is easier than to follow igama lagini. I remember Hakim said this thing, yokuthi, I no longer live for my own name. I now live for my last name. So kunemithetho that you need to live according when you are now living for that generation. So a lot of people abakhetha ukthwala, they choose not to follow imithetho of that clan name because abafuna ukulalela imithetho yakhona.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's part of ukthwala on a surface level.
Yes, you basically, but I suppose there is a reason why they had to do that, because there is something that they need so that they become affluent. Am I right?
Yes.
Without going that route, they should follow. And remember, maybe I normally would, any life that I go to, I normally would say to people that I think you have heard me say that. Would a disclaimer for people? I'm a Christian, right?
Yes.
And not only just a Christian, but in terms of the way, I don't believe only in Christ. I've accepted him as my Lord and personal Savior. All right.
Yes.
Because even demons believe that they believe in Christ, by the way. All right.
Yeah.
But surely they have not actually accepted. So I also want to understand where you at and the practices that you actually do, and whether for me it would be bizarre, but it's your reality. All right.
Yes.
It's your reality. But I also want to, because remember that we have the time, because now I suppose now there are so many to a point that I'm not so sure if it is fashionable or they are really being called. I don't know what is actually happening, but I also want to understand as to whether, remember, we are talking about Blessee.
Yes.
All right. But you raised the issue of saying that they most of them they also go to a point of ukutwala. But what you're saying is that it's precisely because they need those particular shortcuts to be able to get there. But I suppose also with the same breath, we could also be able to say there are those that would go by Otwala even if they were not supposed to be what we call traditional healers. Am I right? No?
Yes.
Precisely because of what they want to have. And the idea of thinking that once you're there, you actually find peace. All right?
That's correct.
Am I
Yes,
right?
you are correct. Yes, you are correct.
So some bathwalela ukuthi they want a shortcut. But
Yes.
is it, now you said something you would it's easier. I'm not so sure if it's easier.
It's not,
I'm not so
but
sure
they
if it's
have an
easier.
assumption. It's not easy, as in like serving another entity, because now you have surrendered to serve another entity. It's a matter of jealousy. It's a matter of pride. It's a matter of being serving your ego. So, into yesibusiso, Uncle B.
Yeah.
Even myself, ngiyingane kaNkulunkulu. Before I'm a healer, the ability is granted by uNkulunkulu. That's what I believe with my gift. So, isibusiso sinomthetho before you are granted a gift. So there are people that choose not to bow to even God Himself. They choose to bow to their own ego because of whatever reason that they have, which would be being wounded. So I wouldn't say it's easy, but they assume it's easier to just, instant gratification.
Yeah.
Isithwalo is instant gratification than going the
Okay.
long way. So it's them assuming that it's
not,
easier.
in essence, it's not even easy
No,
either way. That's
it's
basically what
not.
you're saying. Okay.
It's not.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
not.
Let's allow Faith. Let's hear what Faith is actually saying. Faith, you're
All right.
welcome, sis. Just
Hello,
hanging in
everyone.
there.
Hello, Uncle B.
How are you? How are you?
Ngiyaphila. Hey, mina, I don't know much about Uktwala and all that.
No. Remember, we Faith. It is just
Yes,
an offshoot of the discussion, all right?
right.
Because she raised ukuthi abanye abantu they end up so that they're able to receive all this particular wealth, they go to a level of uktwala. And my point was, can you explain what is that? What is that? Ratana, welcome, and welcome everyone.
Well, I think khona izinto mesithi singazi understand then sizothi, oh, it's supernatural and into zokuthwala or isintu, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
the way I see it, evolutionally speaking, there are men's needs and then there are women's needs, right? And what these men have come to ukuthi, angisho, you know, ukuthi tiwa a woman is much older psychologically than a man,
Okay.
right? Yes.
Okay.
So fanele kube khona this age gap between people who are in a relationship for the woman to be able to relate, so to speak, with the man that he is in the relationship with his partner. So
Yeah.
when people are the same age and, you know, a woman is much older psychologically than the man, then kuba khona this difference in phases now, corner, because men go through phases, right? The boy phase, the becoming a man phase, the acquiring wealth, and then the enjoying wealth part. So sometimes when boys are not taught how to be man, they miss out on their life because they spend their few years in confusion. Okay, so what is it to be a man? Like, what's the whole point of this? What am I doing? Like, until they finally, later in life, they understand, oh, this is what it is. And they understand, like, they've come to the truth of what manhood is. And you'll find that is later in life. And to me, not everything is, you know, like wounds and we have to heal and all that. kuba khona this thing yokuthi, yeah, there's still this thing that I need. Like, I need this cup filled. Yokuthi, I need to be the provider. So into
Yeah.
yokuthwala, the way I see it, it's not necessarily into yesintu, kodwa it's a thing of you. Okay, let's say you are a blesser and I'm a blessee. You would be using my desires to acquire wealth. Like me saying, oh, I sabawell this, or I'm craving this. You would say, how can I use that to make more money so that I can also share money with her? So it's not a thing of
Konje
umuntu
in
or anything like that. It's a thing of, yes,
in the state,
I.
it doesn't matter which level of relationship is that, whether marriage or not.
Well, that's the thing. You are only blessee when you're dating. Kodwa mase nishadile, you are husband and wife, and that's it, right?
Okay,
Right.
that's correct. That's correct.
Yeah. So it's just an age gap relationship. So some people are more uncomfortable with bigger gaps of a relationship between two partners. So we now call it a certain name. Godwa, it's seen as something totally different when I date, let's say I'm a pretty woman, and then I date someone that is less attractive. And they are much, well, not much older, but they're the same age. People don't know how
Yeah.
to classify that. So they say, oh, she's only with her for the money. Like, he's only with him for the. So it's the same thing with Blessee's relationship, where people are in an age gap relationship where it's like, oh no, you are only with him because he's much older and has money, and you are with him because he's much pretty. Because these people are both at the same vibration. They are in the kingdom, so to speak, right? Like, they're thinking the same, regardless of their age gap. Like, how could someone like you, Uncle B, be able to relate to, I don't know, like a 20-year-old,
No, it
unless
depends.
you are, in a sense, on that level?
I don't know, but I know that my 12-year-old is my 10 and 12-year-old are giving me a run for my money. All right. So
Yes, exactly.
and let alone the boys. I know that the boys is something else as well. But my 10-year-old, I mean, I always ask myself, yo, what is wrong with these children? How are they thinking? I mean, it's like, and
Yes.
they happen to
Can you
be.
imagine? Sorry.
Now, I'm just saying to you that it could be that if I was not married, I don't know if I would actually marry a 20-year-old, but I don't think I would have a problem marrying a 20-year-old maybe at that particular, because I'm looking at them as a person, because they've matured as well at that particular age. Maybe. I'm just
Right.
thinking. And I'm saying I might not be, and the truth is, I don't think we call anybody older than a woman would become a blesser. Argument, baby. Argument. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. And maybe I would get to that point. But the truth is, the fact remains that when a person who's older, for argument's sake, all right, when somebody is older at 50, 60, and they meet somebody who's actually 20, will it now do we have a right to be able to say they become blessers if they want to take this thing to a level where they actually marry each other? The reason why
Right.
I'm
And
speaking
because
about
it is a relationship,
that's exactly
not
my
all of
point.
them are just transactional.
But what we are saying is, Faith, is that we are saying blesser blessee precisely because somebody who is older, all right, he's not even committed. He's just flaunting the money to get to bed with this particular people. I don't know if I'm making sense.
I get you.
it is not necessarily that somebody, there's an age gap. Because remember, there are blessers who are almost of the same age.
Okay.
Am I right?
Oh,
Could I be
I
right?
was about to ask Veluguti, at what point does a man become a blesser? At what age?
I think I've answered that.
Uncle
I don't know.
B,
I'm still lost.
Uncle B,
Hi,
can I
Ngoma.
can I quickly clarify in terms of Twala, with the point which I brought? It
Yeah,
wasn't to explain in terms of the lives, but the live, but I was just putting another perspective of ezinye izinto other people baya ekuthwaleni, because now the
yeah,
success is not coming through regarding their career and other perspective. Then they choose ukuthwala, to feed that ego, to go to
yeah,
traditional healers because their ego and their life is not going as quick as they wish. So it
yeah,
wasn't in a matter of just bringing Uktwala to the life. I'm sorry
yeah,
regarding that point. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. No, 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 no. That is why I'm saying that. I'm just saying, I'm trying to answer confusion to say the reason why you had to come to that point, it
Yeah.
becomes an offshoot of why blessers
Yes.
are doing what they're actually doing. All right.
Yes. Yes.
And by the way, I was just giving an example. If say I am a man who's not married and I want to do what I actually think it's proper to actually to have a relationship. And I'm not necessarily that I would actually do that, but I'm just saying my little girls are giving me a run for my money.
Yeah.
I'm just saying
Understood.
that's how women and I acknowledge the fact that that's how women are actually growing in terms of maturity as well.
Understood, Auntie B.
Well, Uncle
Yeah,
B, you could change your perspective to let that be to your advantage, right? Next time when they say something that you don't understand, or am I still there?
yeah, you're here.
All right. I thought the network was. Um, yes. Next time they say, "Oh, I want something," or like, just change your wording, your perspective, like, because affluence is something that
Hi,
you
Queen.
work for. If you're not born into, then you work towards. So no mongaya, the traditional route of Twala, you still have to go work.
Yeah,
After the ceremony, you have to go to work.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Hi, Bongs. Yeah,
why
yeah.
not use your children's desires to say, what are new ways that I can make money to bring money home? Because that's
No,
all
no,
it
no. But
is.
I don't mean it in that way. Um, maybe just to explain. I'm just saying you talked about issue of maturity. I was just trying to expand the issue with the people mature, especially
Yes.
my
Now I'm
little girl.
expanding on that and saying you could be your little girl's blessers. It doesn't need to be a romantic thing or, a date kind of thing. You can be blessed and bless your kids. That's it.
No, I am. I suppose I'm trying to do my utmost in that aspect. All right. As a father, by the way. All right. And
Right.
most probably because I also understand that my girls are actually I'm actually their first boyfriend, most probably. They need to
So I
and I
have
need
a
to bless them as
question.
a father.
I have a question. Would you teach your kids to look for a partner that would actually provide for them fully, to where if they don't want to go to work, they just sit at home, like be stay at home
Okay.
wife?
If you follow me enough, faith, all right. you'd have an answer to that. All right.
I recently started,
I've always said, without diverting in terms of the discussion, but one thing I always believe in purpose. All right.
Right.
I always believe in purpose. So in terms of them getting somebody who is actually rich, because I sometimes ask the question, have you ever asked where this person has actually find the money? Or are you the next one that is supposed to be sacrificed so that he gets more money? Maybe, let's say, somebody has got it well, but are they in line with your purpose, or you are in line with their purpose? So it is not all about money, because there are a lot of people who are in money and they want to get out of it precisely because they are in a wrong space. Millicent, you're welcome.
I see.
Welcome, Millie.
Hi, good morning. How are you guys?
How are
It's
you?
not even morning, actually. Good day.
Good morning.
Yeah, is it Faith?
Molweni, hello.
Stop and you guys
You
before
are
I even
faint, Millie.
interrupt.
Molweni, Brenda.
I would like to say thank you for aiding.
Sure.
Uncle Janayan.
Yeah, I'm not sure why you're so faint,
My
but
network Ori. Faith.
no, we can hear you.
Hi, I can hear you.
We
I don't know,
can
I
hear
think
you, but
network
you're a bit faint.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, no yana lang Janayan. Am I loud enough?
Yes. Yes. Morning, Musa.
I would like to actually before I could even begin, I would like to answer King Faith with Monari. She's a little bit confused. In order to be a blesser or a blessia, it starts at which age? It doesn't start with any age. It only starts with money. The main cause it's money. That's when you start becoming a blessia or a blesser.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you
is
can
it
have
fair
money
to say?
maybe at the early age. Let's say, for instance, your family used to have money, and then you grow up on a rich family. Sorry.
So is it fair to say?
Wait, is
A
it
housewife is
my
a
network?
blessee and his husband is a blesser?
Faith, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, I don't know if
Hello.
network or
All right, you're back now. We
But
can hear you. I asked the question.
Maybe exit
So is it
Millicent
fair to
and
say
then
a
come back.
homemaker?
Millicent, maybe what you can do, can you step out and come back and request again? Brenda, welcome.
Faith, you were saying. Hi, Uncle B. How you doing?
Good. How are you, my sister?
I'm good, thank you.
Amen.
Faith, you were saying something.
Hi. Oh no, I wanted to ask a question. So is it fair now to say a homemaker is a blessee and his husband is a blesser? Because now we're using all these words to cause a rift between a man providing and, men who don't provide.
It can be your point of view. It's
Context.
your point of view. Yes. Yeah.
So what is the difference
in
between a man that fully provides for his woman, regardless whether it's girlfriend or wife, and men and a blesser? What's the difference between a provider man and a blesser?
Okay. Maybe it would, if I say this, I'm not sure what time you came, Nick. In my point of view, a blesser is a person that uses money to control their environment. It can be their home environment. It can be work, it can be entertainment, it can be any type of environment. Okay, they use money to control it. And money varies in terms of who has more, who has less. Okay, motho o dulang lower LSM, their way of blessing people in that LSM is different to a higher LSM, right? So higher LSM, someone who is a complete provider, wena Faith, you can view that. It's your point of view can be that man is blessing that woman. Do you understand what I'm saying? That man is a blesser. The lady is a blessee.
Brenda, could you explain LSM? Bongs is asking, what is LSM?
Okay, LSM. Oh gosh. You know, when you, by saying in marketing terms, when you segment people's lifestyle or income, those like the income brackets, those who earn less than 10,000 would be whatever LSM. Those who earn from 20 to 40, they would be like your middle income earners. They would be the higher ones, but enang, let's say 50,000 and above. They would fall under higher LSM in
Tax bracket.
in advertising. Yes, it's an earning bracket. And
Yeah, earning bracket, yeah.
there's a word that I'm looking for, Uncle B. It's geo something. I think it's geometric. They use that to calculate LSMs, just like age groups. You know, like I hope it's understood.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I Faith, you would be right, you won't be wrong according to your point of view. It's a point of view. Here, when Uncle B, I wrote a blessee is a person that gives up any control to be controlled. A blesser needs ultimate control.
So that's submission.
You can say that. That's why, Kiri, it's a point of view.
Corina says, okay, a living standard measure.
Correct.
Yeah,
correct.
Living standard measure.
Absolutely.
I suppose sometimes, Brenda, we use words to a point that they become infused in us that we can't even explain them. Because we think everybody does. Yeah.
Yes, it's like someone saying za, and then you're like, huh? Like, hey, randa. I bumped into a person that that speaks in it doesn't call a rand, it's a za.
Yeah.
But anyway, yes, thank you. I even forgot that
Thank you,
LSM
Coco.
is abbreviated. Yes.
My love.
What was I saying? So here I wrote a blesser needs ultimate control, and the way they control things, it's very extreme. It doesn't matter where in the LSM. It's very extreme. It can be in marriage when you have a husband who is a multi-billionaire, multi-millionaire, and when you bring home a salary annually earning less than $1 million, and that person says, please don't work, take care of our house because I'm doing it for us. As a provider, he's doing what suits him. That's ultimate control of that environment, and that person plays in a very masculine energy. It's so masculine that it's on the verge of being very greedy. There's a very thin line between that their control and greed.
All right.
Well,
And then a
everyone that's
blessing,
Brenda,
richer than everyone is seen as greedy.
Brenda,
correct,
Because how dare you have so much money? Uncle
correct.
B, I'm out. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
thank you so much, Faith. I
Wait,
think I just wanted
going.
to answer Lerato on the sidelines here, or what is the
Wait,
topic about?
Well,
Please don't
It
leave
it,
first.
Mm-hmm.
it is about the psyche of a blesser and a blessee. All right. And Lerato said something very interesting on the sideline there to say it is more
hi,
blesser
Melody.
blessee relationship. It is more like transactional. It is a give and take.
Give and
It's
take.
not just it
exactly. It's
is
not.
not just a relationship, but it is a relationship based on what you giving me and what I actually give you in return. All right.
Yes,
Because I
that's
suppose and I think for all intents and purposes, what we are actually saying is that we are taking this discussion to the extremist level. All right. To say to say um to say what is the person that is able to give this particular provision. All right. King se e leng hore ha se tlisa, it actually makes the other person hore they are actually at their mercy.
I would agree le Lerato ne because of blessers. It's not like they go into a relationship to build something. They're not
Yeah,
building anything.
thank you.
They just enjoy the moment with the girl. Because of the lady also, she is also there to get money, to buy herself clothes, to go to vacation, to live. It's just like an experiment of living that fancy life. I understand. And trust me, a blesser, you would never tell him anything. And you will never build him. You will like there's nothing that you can tell him because of eventually like originally and he sees you as nothing.
Yeah,
And he see himself as a billionaire. So
yeah,
do you think what a billionaire will take advice from an hobo? Never.
sure.
That's how blessers see as like young girls and all that. It's just that they enjoy your energy of having sex, go partying like nobody's business, and you dress up as like, no offense, sorry guys, no offense, but more likely a prostitute. Ne? It's not a
Yeah,
prostitute, guys. More likely prostitute. Guys, don't get offended. So they just enjoying that vibe and all that. Um, and they will never give you a lot of money. They will just give you maybe 10. They will rent a property for you. They won't buy things that you can keep. That's
Um,
why
also,
that's why
Millicent,
they
Millicent. Oh, welcome, Bongs.
Hi
Thank
guys.
you so much
Uh,
for being part of this.
quick one.
I know that you wanted this one to be quite earlier
No, it's
than
fine.
Sunday.
Akobi, can
Yebo.
you guys balance me here quick? Hence, I made a comment with I might be low key a Blessee, but
okay.
I like what Faith tried to put across the difference between a man who can provide for his partner or wife and a
mm,
blesser. But the way I'm hearing it is that a blesser is somebody who has a very damaged psyche and they come across as controlling, where you are just there for his pleasure sexually, and then he provides these things because then you fulfill the part of himself that he cannot buy with his money. Whereas a man who provides, then how do we separate the two indefinitely? Where a man is providing, and it's not necessarily, he would probably not see you for a month or so, and he still cares to check whether you have enough power. Are your bills paid? Is this done? Do you need anything? So can you just maybe try and balance me there, because I might be judging myself thinking I'm a blessee, and I'm just really with somebody who cares about me. And by the way, Uncle B, your hat is fire. It's just hot. I like it.
Thank you so much, Bongs. Thank you.
Bongsine, a man who provides, a man can date somebody who doesn't have nothing. Ne? If like that man is not it didn't come to that person because of he wants to have fun and all that. He can even take you to school to show her he is there to lift you up in life.
Okay.
Go like
He
he
has
can do
intent.
anything
So
for
that's
you,
that's just a provider. It's
regardless
not
of
necessarily a
I
looking
think
for
blesser.
a sex or anything.
Wabona
I
Bongs,
think
from
initially,
Faith's
Bongs.
point of view, that person could be blessing you. That person could be your blesser. Like we were saying, when she asked, is it? And we said, then it's a point of view. It's a point of view. It's where is it decent according to society? Where is it
Okay.
not? Where is it dignified? And where it is not? Because ultimately, once you look at it in J under a microscope, you can, if they were both cells, it could literally look the same. Like if it was a plant and you cut it, it would look the same, because this cell is providing to this one, and this one is an ultimate a direction seeker, wanting to be controlled, crave being controlled. They serve. Blessee, it's a person that serves,
Okay.
and she also she works with a masculine energy. It's not feminine. The energy, both energies are masculine.
Okay. Okay.
One is there to take, one is there to give. So they feed off each other's energy.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Right,
And that's why
Bongs.
when they meet, they always serve each other.
It's a give
They
and take.
always serve each other. One sees the other one sees the other one, and they immediately they know this is the one I'm going to control, or this is the one I'm going to serve.
Right, Bongs. I think what Ingoma actually said on the sidelines there. She says
Yes.
that it is when a man is emotionally attached. All right.
That he is not a
He's
blesser.
not a blesser. But I suppose
Okay.
I wanted to move from a premise of saying, remember, a blesser and a blessee has actually changed in terms of its definition. But the original meaning is that God, in this particular instance, is a blesser, and I'm a blessee because I'm blessed. But and in essence, the process of being blessed and becoming a blessee and a blesser and a blessee does not take an advantage of someone. All right. It is
Correct.
not to take
Correct.
advantage of someone. So, but once somebody begins to take an advantage of someone, then it becomes the negative connotation of what blesser blessee, and which is where we at.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you so
All
much,
right.
Uncle B. I will listen in the comments. I just want to give space to Mac.
That clarification. Are you comfortable with that? No?
I'm comfortable. I have a few notes, but I'll come back, Uncle B.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mate. Uh, Lerato, you are welcome.
Thank you, Uncle B.
And thank you so much for being in this in the live and your contribution as well.
All
It
right.
doesn't go unnoticed. And Chapelele, welcome, my brother. How are you?
Great, thanks. How are you, Uncle P? How are you,
Amen.
everyone?
Welcome, bro. Welcome.
Sure, thanks.
Lerato, over to you.
All right. Yeah. I just wanted to clarify, like my understanding, right, of obviously blessee relationship dynamic
Okay, Bri.
is that it's a pure exchange, right? So an exchange of goods, whatever the goods are. So the blesser would oftentimes come and trade his financial goods for pleasure, right? In its extreme sense, right? Because we're being extreme in this case, I think, as you qualified, Uncle B. So a blesser would come and spend money on the blessee. The blessee doesn't necessarily have to be an object of submission to this man. It could be as simple as the blessee wants a Gucci bag. The blesser says, okay, I'm going to get you the Gucci bag and spend that money on you. And the blessee has a good time with this man because maybe that man is looking for a good time, right? As opposed
Okay.
to a relationship dynamic where, is it Yingoma or Mac who's got background noise?
Sorry.
I think
Ingoma,
it's
would
income.
you
Sorry, I'll
mind just
mute.
mute? Yeah. Okay. Sure. Thank you.
Okay, all right, thank you. As opposed to a relationship where, in a relationship dynamic, whether the woman is the other woman or not, even if this man say he's got a wife and you are his other woman or his mistress, as people like to call others, that man has a vested interest beyond just finance and an exchange in you, right? I hope I'm making sense. Where he might be paying for your rent, taking care of you, but with a long-term view, right, of the relationship or helping you develop or seeing you win in the long term, not just an exchange of goods, you know. So
Yeah.
that's how I see it. It's still a relationship, whether you're the side woman, the other woman, the whatever. The other day I was listening to this lady. Her name is called Shahrazad Ali, right? Where she talks about monogamy and she talks about men providing and the history of Black men not ever being able to be with one woman, that they were born with a capacity to have extra women. And and now, because of like Western influences on us, we think that that woman is the other woman. No, sorry, we demean her and call her a mistress, right? When even she's not a mistress. It's not always that she's a mistress. You find that this man has a full-on family or a full-on relationship with her that's been going on for 5 years, 10 years, 15, even 30 years, right? So we can't say that that woman is a blessee of that man. They had a whole life together that they built together. Yeah, and that's like
Yeah.
a full-on
Lerato,
relationship like any other.
my understanding is that we are now bordering on an element of istembu, all right?
Yeah.
Am I right, no?
Yeah.
So in accordance to an African culture, I suppose, istembu is not a wrong thing to actually do. But and I'm just thinking that and that is why we are saying that somebody is not actually being taken advantage of, because there is a process of development that actually wants that needs to be able to happen. All right.
Yeah.
In a sense that somebody is saying we are ultimately going to get married because that's what I want us to be able to do. All
Yeah.
right. But again, if I were to take it on a Christian level, it might be something different, precisely because I might think, and that's not what I'm saying now, but I might also begin to think to say, as a Christian, then it means that if the other woman does not even know about you, then that's cheating. All right.
Yes.
And I'm saying we might, we might be able to put it on another level to say maybe let's that one might be that somebody is trying to build towards you becoming a wife. And half the time, the most unfortunate part is that a lot of us normally when we find 50 grand or even over 1 million because of Diloria pop, they are popping, all right? Then we tend to do an unbecoming behavior, all right? And we are speaking of a blesser in this particular instance, in a sense that he because he's somewhere and he wants to relieve himself, what he does is he'll call Lerato or he'll call Yungo. Because there's no relationship there.
Yeah.
So that he begins to flaunt what he actually has. The question that we are asking is, what is the psyche around the two people that are giving the service and the service for and that? I suppose I'm making sense.
You're making a lot of sense. And
Yeah.
the reason I think I spoke about it and I brought up the issue of polygamy is that these things happen. The blessers are normally, you find that the man is married or in another relationship set up, and then they find you as an extra accessory in their lives. So I think, to answer you, the psyche of a man who goes looking for a blessee, like that man, to me, he's got the wrong idea of what a man is, right? And he goes to feed that idea by getting these women that become blessees to him, because his idea of masculinity, his idea of being a man is acquiring women and showing off his what he's got, his financial muscles, and it makes him feel good about himself because he's got this idea that being a man is about power and exerting power in your environment, right? And the only way to do so, or the only way he knows how to exert power, because you can still exert power in your environment and claim the space around you in other ways. But this man has been taught that the only way a man can have power, or the only thing that gives a man power, is money, right? That's the only thing that buys him control. And he uses that money as a form of control over the environment being other women, the so-called blessees. And they target a certain kind of woman who is entitled, who is, I'm looking to get things real quick. I'm living a fast-paced life. I'm looking for instant gratification. And that's often the kind of woman that you would find being a blessee.
Okay.
So
Just hold on.
Even the blessee, their psyche, their psyche is that of a man who is a man is a man who has money. They're also wounded, they don't see it's those men who, if they have a child with you, Uncle B, that woman, if you don't have money, she can even stop you from seeing your child and rearing your children and help raise your children, because they see men as objects of like giving out money. Like they have no respect for there's not even provision. Provision is like something else, because provision is not limited to money. A man is a provider because he provides safety, he provides love, he provides guidance, he provides structure, he provides discipline in the home. So provision is not just financial. I think our generation has reduced provision to just financial, that if a man cannot provide financially, he's not a man. And the reality is, a lot more men in South Africa have less money than the women. You can look at stats. Stats don't lie. You can look at FNB's quarterly reports to see who has bought property in the last quarter, the last 6 months. It will tell you who's buying the properties. Black single women, because the men don't have money in this country. But we've used money as a measure to gauge men. It's like, if he doesn't have money, then he's not a man. There's nothing else he can do for me. But provision is broader than that. You could have a man who doesn't have money, but he's in the household, he's helping you raise the kids, he's instilling discipline, he's showing them how to be men and women in the world. Your kids are also getting an example of what a home dynamic looks like by the time they get out into the world and they have their own families. They know how to act in that role because they've seen both mom and dad do it, right? and money has nothing to do with it. You know, they've seen mom and dad do it, but now our kids, the only example they have is, no, he must provide for you, buy you a Gucci, give you money. If he doesn't, he's not a man. And we
So I
believe
think,
that lie.
Lerato, what you're saying then, it would then be on bordering on who sets the foundation in
Yeah.
terms of the thinking of this particular children. But I want you to hold on there. Just hold on, don't go. And thank you
Yeah.
for
Okay.
also showing
I'll
face
stick
so that we
around.
know
Yeah.
who we are talking to.
Yeah.
Machepelele, my brother, how are you?
No, great. Thanks. How are you, man?
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah. No, no.
I'm
It's
glad I'm
this.
glad that you're here, man. Eh?
Yeah. No,
You know
thanks.
how I honor you.
No, thanks, man. Thanks. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Well, I've never been a blesser myself. I've never really like I've never seen one. I just heard of people who say we've been blessed, but then, it was never really something that I paid attention to.
So,
And
Machepelele,
as yeah.
Machepelele, do you want to tell me that you've never been a blesser at this stage? Or you
No,
just being oblivious over the fact that you are a blesser?
no,
I'm
man.
kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
No, it really depends on how. There is no precise, or there's no precise definition of what a blesser is, but in this context, I really think, as they explained, or as I was listening to the conversation, they're saying somebody who comes into your life to give you money for sex. And well, for me, is that really a blessing, or should we find another word for it? Because now, when we talk about blessing, blessing adds no sorrow, and
Yeah.
that is the truth that I know of the blessing. It adds no sorrow. But then
Yeah.
now, if you
Yeah.
find yourself in a situation where somebody's giving you money, but you're not happy. You're just enjoying the financial benefits, but you're not there emotionally and otherwise, then it's a problem. I wouldn't
Yes.
say that is a blessing. You are not blessed. That it adds a lot of sorrow to you as a woman. And as Lerato
Yeah.
said, stat says
Machepelele,
most women buy. Yes.
I think I explained the word blessing in its context of the truth. All right. And I think
Yes.
I'm in agreement with you, but I'm just saying I had to explain because in a sense that I'm a blessee in terms of who God is, because he's a blesser. All right. So the origin
Yes.
of the word comes from God. It's God, but we have changed. The secular world have actually changed what a blesser and a blessee is, and we are speaking
Mm.
about that in that context. All right.
Okay.
And I also understand, and I fully agree with you. And in actual fact, that's what I believe in. Um, Besides agreeing with you, that's what I believe in. But we are saying, because this is what people are actually thinking. But also, maybe just to add on to what you actually said and begin to say, let's also ask a question. Are we only talking about men, or are we also talking about women who are actually blessed?
Well, I believe that anyone can be a blesser, even women.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
I'll speak as a man because, well,
Yeah.
I can only bless a woman
Yeah.
as a straight man, and I can only be blessed by a woman. Like you know,
So,
you know. So uh, uh, um, the issue of blessers and blessees. Well, I want to touch on what Lerato just said when she said no stats. If you go to FNB and the question that I have, is it really a question of men don't make money, or is it a question of most men don't know how to handle their own affairs as far as money is concerned? You know, because we as men, in most cases as providers, as people who believe that we need to do certain things for other people. We don't buy houses, we buy cars, we buy women. We take care of women, and then women. Most women are very clever when it comes to money. Like they buy properties. That's the first thing that a woman buys. If you look at, let's go back to the stats, the very same stats. Let's take it to a VEF, vehicle and assets finance, and check how many men buy expensive cars. Because with us men, I would buy a BMW or a Benz or an Audi. A woman, when they start working, they'll buy a Grand i10, and we are earning the same salary. They'll buy a Grand i10 and buy a house. With us men, because now we have this mentality that I need to please so and so and so, I buy a BMW. And in all honesty, most women, when you're driving a certain car like a Grand i10, they don't take you as a man. They themselves, they driving Grand i10. You have to buy a BMW or a Benz to be, considered as that. I think our society, Uncle B, I don't know what's going on, but we living in a messed up world where we define ourselves based on material things, based on what we have. Okay, I just wanted to touch base, Lerato. She will clarify me later about the issue of properties, and then I'm saying, okay, fine. Let's not turn a blind eye on VEF. You're buying a property. Women are buying properties. Who's buying cars? You get.
Yeah.
Let's check the stats as well. And on the issue of blessers and blessees, poverty is very painful, and nobody wants to live in poverty. And sometimes, not all of us have that capacity to get a degree, Uncle P. Like we all, the capacity is just not there. You're trying, you're studying, you want to better your life, and not only your life, you want to better your life, and you also want to better the life of your siblings and your parents. And at the time, now the society says that if you don't know maths, you can't make it in life, and you just don't have the capacity to study that maths. And then because the only knowledge that you have is I need to know maths. And then now people who know maths, they are advancing and you are left behind. It may be that now you look at, okay, what do I do now? I'm beautiful. I've got the kind of body that most men want. And I also want to drive a car. I also want to live in a house. I also want to better a situation at home. So what do I do? Right? And then, okay, we can talk about God and say, okay, let's go and pray. And, prayer alone is not enough, Uncle B. You need to understand how the world works. You need to understand how things work. You don't understand that. You are praying. Prayer gives you more anointing. It does not give you money. You are anointed, but you still need to understand what is going on in the world. So now you find yourself in a situation where you don't understand, right? Here's a guy who says, I'll give you money. I'll buy you a house.
Yeah.
I'll buy you a house. I'll buy you a car, And I'm like, I might as well use this because I'm poor. Though it's going to add sorrow. It adds more sorrow to you because you can't be with the guy that you really love.
Yeah.
You can't. The world does not allow you to be with a man that you love. Your
And
situations, you say that I want to get out of this situation. How do I do it? I'm not capable of becoming a doctor, a lawyer, or something else. The education
I,
system, okay, yes, Uncle B.
I, I suppose, truth be told, that there is a point where I was just reading the comments there when you spoke about more men buying cars, and Bongs is saying, in actual fact, women are actually buying both, right? So,
Okay.
and I suppose at the end of a comment was that we know, or people have to know what is actually valuable. If not, the priorities that they would actually begin to have. Am I right? I suppose I'm
Yeah.
right of what she actually said. So, what is your take on that?
Okay. I actually I worked for a bank myself
Yeah,
for the longest time, right? I worked in both um housing department and vehicle departments, right? Yes,
yeah.
it is true what Lerato is saying, that they buy houses. Most women buy houses, right? But when you look at it, when you take a closer look at it, a woman will buy. Women don't have a problem of driving a smaller car. They don't. She can drive a Picanto with no balloon payment and buy a house. We men, what we do when we start working, I buy a BMW with a 37% balloon, and I'm renting at that time. Now I don't afford a house. You know, if you check, most repossessed cars are from men. If you go and check your stats, well, most repossessed cars were registered under men's names. So men, like we men, in most cases, we're not really wise when it comes to money, and I think we don't really understand the value of of money. Sometimes we take what we call a seed and we eat it. God gives you a job, you earn 20,000 rand. You take that 20,000 rand, you see Lerato, you start saying, "Hey, Lerato, can I take you out? Can I do this for you? Can I do this for you?" Whereas you are supposed to work on yourself and develop yourself and grow yourself, right? And then now Lerato takes from me. She earns the same 20,000 rand. She takes from me. She saves her own. She invests. She develops herself. In 3 years, I'm no longer with Lerato. She's in a better space. I'm in a worse space than I was when we started dating, me and her. You know? So women are wise when it comes to money. We men, that is why I believe in marriage so much. Because, well, I've been married before. I'm a divorcee. I know what I'm talking about. Like, if you give a woman, you say, okay, I earn 50,000 rand. Trust me, she will take all the right decisions. She'll tell you, why don't we do this? Why don't we do this? Why don't we cut on this? Why don't we cut on this? We men are not about that,
Yeah,
right?
because
Mr.
you
Pelele,
never.
hang on. Let's also allow Ingoma to actually say a word. But Lerato, please don't leave. All right,
I won't.
don't leave. Can Machapelele, if you don't mind, can I just allow Osna lady to come in? I
No,
know
no,
that.
it's fine. So,
Yeah, and then please don't leave. You request as you leave. Request. Ingoma.
Hi, Uncle P. I came in because Wonks asked an important question
Yeah.
where she wanted to know if
Thank you, Bongs.
in her livelihood is she a blessee because she is now submissive to her men. She's allowing her men to provide for her financially. To clarify that, in that situation, no. A Blessee and Blesser relationship, it's more of transactional in this sphere of you give me your energy, I feed into it as a man, or if the Blesser is a woman, you are my entertainment. You are coming in as, if you are beautiful, with your beauty, because as our society knows that the a man is the woman that he is with. So the more beautiful that woman, the more higher I am in terms of status. Between the boys in the golf club that we go to, in events that we attend, if I bring the more prettier girl in the friends, in the circle of friends, we all brag about the woman that we are. We
Yeah.
have our,
Yeah.
yeah. So I
Yeah.
was trying to explain that. And in terms of the, I forgot his name, the guy that just left the live.
Machepele. Brother
Yes,
Machepele.
yes, the brother.
Mm-hmm.
The unfortunate thing, which is what I brought up earlier, in terms of the unfortunate thing, is that men love to serve their ego
Mm-hmm.
more than serving their last name. Now, you cannot know your finances that, okay, I lack like this and this and this and this. A lot of them were groomed in this manner that they have to please ladies by all means. They have to look a certain way in our society to look like money, instead of actually living a life that literally caters for your generational wealth, because we don't care. Us women don't care. We know, in terms of, when you have your peers at work, we know your salaries. I mean, I'm an accountant. There are guys that will drive the most expensive car. We know for a fact that they cannot afford that car, but he will pull all means to look rich. But I know your finances. So that's the unfortunate thing in our society, that I don't know how men are living their lives into just trying by all means to please us, to look rich. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I suppose now I think we have opened another can of worms
Yes.
in this instance. All right.
Yeah.
Um, because remember, we the intention of the discussion was that there are men who are I suppose rich, all right, but
Yes.
because of there's an element of self gratification. But
Yes.
not only that, I think Lerato said it quite nicely to say, just to show that you can afford, and most
Yes.
probably also to be able to show your friends how much you can actually be able to afford. That is why somebody would say, no, 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 let it be that this table is on me. But I'm saying, in this particular instance, there are people that are said to be blessed, that would also be able to give a service in this particular instance, whether or not it's your beauty, including the sexual part of it, or something else. But the intention of it was that, let's look at those that are very affluent and they're abusing the and precisely because, as you said it earlier, most probably it's because of the egos. All right.
Mm, mm, mm.
So I suppose I also understand, or no, like any discussion, it has to take an offshoot, to be able to address other issues. But also we still have the knowledge and the thinking that, by the way, this is what we are actually discussing,
Yes.
and others, they become fake blessers. Ne? That's
Yes.
basically what you're saying,
Yes.
because they can't even afford the car that they're actually driving. But
Yes.
but they would take 10,000 to give to Ingoma, right? Just to
Yes,
show.
Uncle B.
Yeah,
Because
just to
another perspective that we also need to look at is that A blesser is more of an energy vampire in a way. I need to feed on you. I cannot take you to anywhere if you don't vibe in my level, you know. There is an energy exchange. That's the more of the foundation here, because they prey on certain women. You cannot be Yingoma and they can prey on me. They select, there's a candidate of type of woman that they prefer. So I'll leave it at that, Uncle B.
I think what Bongs is also saying on the sideline, it's exactly what I think she took on it, and I think maybe that is exactly what I believe in, to say the power of one's last name. All right.
Yes.
I think I call it the development and the growth of your tribe. All right. I suppose it's on the same level. Thank you so much, Ingoma. Also, lady, also Mutona Dume.
Greetings, everyone. I'm just gonna, Uncle B, as I come in and I join in the conversation, I just want to say, let's go back to the basics.
You are a bit low,
The
also,
word
lady.
blesser has been misused. The word blesser has been misinterpreted. And I like the way you have interpreted it from the Bible, that we only know that there is only one blesser in this whole world, who is the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords, the one that sits on his throne, the one that is mighty. Uncle P, you can hear me?
Yes,
I'm
I
struggling.
can hear you, Snalit.
I'm a little bit struggling. Maybe Lerato is able to hear you, but I'm struggling.
I can hear you, Snalit.
Okay.
Oh no, now I can't hear you. Okay, I think she'll request again, Uncle B.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Lerato, please expand a little.
I'll quickly come in to respond to, what's his name? Oh gosh, he's got such a difficult name.
Machepelele.
Yeah, Machepelele. When he was saying that it's the problem is not that men do not have money in this country, is that they do have it, but their priorities differ from women's priorities, i.e. men buy cars, women buy homes. I mean, that or alone, like just hearing that, like to me, it's so heartbreaking that a fully fledged man, someone who's supposed to be a provider, can go and buy a metal to please the streets instead of housing his children. Like, that just speaks to how broken men are, how broken masculinity is, how men just don't know how to be men, you know? And part of it could stem from the fact that they never had that example growing up of what it means to be a man, you know? The other day, Osnelly, I'm going to let you speak. Just give me a minute to just wrap up this quick point. The other day, I was talking to a friend of mine. He's in his 40s, and we were talking, and the conversation led us to, don't ever let me go buy you Habli flavor. You know, because that's what AMA 2000 do to 40-year-old and 50-year-old men. And I'm like, I respect you deeply to go buy flavor, because that literally emasculates men. How does a 50-year-old man leave his home to go buy flavor for little AMA 2000? You know, it just points to the fact that the men do not even know what it means to man. You know, it just doesn't make sense to me that psychologically a grown-ass 50-year-old man will go buy drinks and flavor for little girls that are pretty and go buy a flashy car and not think of housing himself and his children.
Just hold it there, Lerato. Without sounding like we are battering men, I hope we are not there. But Naledi, over to you, sis.
Can you guys hear me now? Uncle, can you hear me?
You know,
You better now.
sound very better.
All right. Yo, I
I
can't
suppose
believe,
there's
guys.
a
I can't
Naledi, I
believe
suppose
I
there's a
was I
sound
was
engineer.
going on and on. Yes, it's my sound, Uncle B. I was going
Yeah.
on and on and on, and I saw that everybody was typing, we cannot hear. And I'm like, no, man, I'm in the middle of the prayer. You guys didn't hear it. Anyway, let me go back.
Yeah.
So, Uncle, I was saying, nah, can we just go back to the basics? Let's go
Yeah.
back to the word blesser. It has been misinterpreted, it has been misused in so many ways. I
Yeah.
like it when you started the live. You actually elaborated that who is the blesser. The blesser is the King of Kings, the Lord of
Mm,
Lords, the one that
mm,
sits on the throne, the one that is mighty, the one that created the earth. That is the one and only blesser. Now,
yeah.
the word has been used here, momolefatsing, and it
Mm,
has been given a wrong meaning. And I think
yeah.
when I just joined Honajano, Dineo asked a question in the comment section and said, is there one woman who is going to raise up their hand and say, I am a blesser? I am going to raise my hand because I understand the concept of a blesser. I give to those who are less privileged than me. I give to those who are less fortunate than me. And ha ne ke mametse Lerato ne, I like what Lerato said. Everything else that she said, it was not understood. But the moment she said, women are buying houses, men are not, that is the point that men are sitting and are dwelling on. And that is not her point. She was saying, let us look at the statistics. What are the statistics saying right now? So, Labona Hore Banna, you got attached to something that she was just making a reference to. And anyway, there was a comment that I wrote, Uncle B, in the comment section. I said
Yeah.
a blesser comes in different forms. Now, when a blesser sees a blessee, there is a certain kind of a person that they are looking for. There are a certain kind of ladies that they are preying on. And remember,
Mm,
the relationship between this blesser and blessee is not to empower each other, is not to make anyone better, is not the way ba kopanang ka teng, nkare ba ngola on a piece of paper to say, wena you will do this for me and I will do this for you. So it's not
mm.
like you will find this blessee with a mention. Never. That is my 2 cents, Uncle B.
Thank you so much, Naledi. I think Lerato, that's the reason why I'm actually keeping her here, because for me, like Yungoma, they are making a whole lot of sense. But I also I understand, and of course, it has also brought to a point where Yungoma included the fact that people go to a level of ugutwala, so that they have more money. So, which therefore says, in a Christian sense, I would say people sell their souls so that they are able to have more, in essence. So that and the most unfortunate thing about having more, while you're not ready to be able to have, this is my thinking now, it makes you to be able to begin to flaunt what you actually have, because whatever that you're keeping, people would not even know what you actually have. So you must ascertain that you make other people to know what you're actually having, but also in a process you begin to abuse people's emotions and feelings as well. But also there are those who are um, who are there out there that are creating a an ability for you to be able to buy these things because they are there. They are willing to be able to receive that particular 10,000 or even 5,000 for that particular one
Yeah,
there.
there's a
Yeah.
demand and a supply. It's
There's
a
a market.
market.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
a market.
There's a market. There's a market.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Asma lady.
So
Welcome, Uncle B. I will step down so that I can give others a chance. Sharp.
But please don't leave because remember you also Guru, you make my head to align as my chief moderator in this instance. Okay. Yingoma.
Hi, Uncle B.
Yebo.
Yes. Do you have a question?
No. I thought you gonna elaborate on what Ausna lady actually said and the discussion thereof.
Sure. I missed her question because I walked out. I didn't really get that. Sorry, Uncle
Okay,
B.
no, that's fine. That's fine. Don't worry. Don't worry. I don't think it was more of a question, but I remember that there is also a level of engagement and understanding as well. And also, we also want to find out as to whether we are we on the same level, or are we missing? Are we also missing that point? But yeah, that's basically that. Saifo, my brother, how are you?
I'm good, and you, sir?
Welcome, bro. Welcome. You're such a
I'm good.
blessing to
Yeah.
me. You know, I was thinking about you the whole week, man. Eh?
Otherwise, yeah, I'm still alive, and yeah. Okay. If I want to just briefly, but in detail, mention some of these people that we call blessers, or how do they move from where they are and to become these other characters? Yes, I'm going to start with the bad ones. The bad ones is that some of these people that they claim to be use this blesser state, it's not like they are blessing you; they are taking you and giving you money. There is this like the billionaires club. If you are familiar with this billionaires club, they make you are a sacrifice. They sacrifice. You won't die at that moment, but bit by bit they are collecting from you something that you can never claim back. You see, so you will be focusing too much on a money side that no, he's giving me $1 million. No one will give you $1 million for free. There's no freebies in life.
Yeah.
They will give that and take. And when time comes for them to can actually now claim, you find that some women, they continue living their life, enjoying that money, but every time they fall pregnant, they lose those children. Not because of they miscarried or their womb had any problem. No, because of you have sacrificed your generation with that money you are receiving from that man. He stole all your children that were supposed to be born from you. So every time you fall pregnant, you're just gonna lose that child. You will never bring to bed until maybe someone comes and rescue you and tells that the reason you're not bearing any kids, you're not having kids, is because of the person that you met before. He has done this to you, and then every time. So now there is this other breed of blessers, men who are miserable, men who are lonely, men who are broken, not broken because of they were born that way. Some of those men is because of they were in a relationship with a wrong woman who tend to ignore and not listen too much to what were their needs. And you find that this person, he's so empty, he's longing for just a glimpse of something that will make him feel good about himself. So when this young star comes and he sees that, okay, this youngster, she is making me feel like I'm a 14-year-old, and she is like giving me this attention that I want, I need. And then I won't mind spending all this money for her just to get that glimpse of a small happiness that she's giving, you see. So that's why I say, with the blessers, the people must always be careful. Yes, unfortunately, we are speaking to ourselves when it comes to our young girls. They do what they do and they can't be stopped. But at the end of the day, you must know that there are more deadlier blessers than there is these men who just want to be happy and for that moment. So blessers, unfortunately, most of them, they are looking for spirits. They know that the more we collect this from these women, at least we will always have this fleshy cast, this fleshy lifestyle. And talking from this side, where my father come from, they do this thing, but unfortunately for them, they don't actually do it for money. They do it for blood. When like, let's say maybe a person like me, they see that, okay, this person, he's working with life, he's a nurse, and we can actually get blood from this man. They will use some witchcraft things to way to, like, normally they say ba go rwesitse phologolo, like they put an animal on you, and then every time you touch someone maybe who's sick, or maybe that person dies, then it's like they are using you to collect the blood of, or whatever they're getting. I don't know exactly what is it. So most blessers, they are like that, but there are few of those who are like, especially out of the men that I've interviewed, it was like two who said, we are not looking for anything from this girl, but at least the glimpse of happiness that they are giving us, and the thing that at least the hope, just like that, that small happiness that, oh, I'm happy, I feel young, this lady, she's treating me, she's doing this, blah, 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 blah. But most of them, believe me, they are out for blood.
Sure. So I suppose the issue of tolerance now, it is actually literally coming in, because remember that there
Yeah.
is something that they need to do for you without you being aware. There is something that you're giving in return. All right.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
it must grow this thing, and precisely because there is an altar that they need to be able to service. And that is why I think Koki once said that there's a woman who actually jumped into the Uber that he was in naked, precisely because she realized, or no, this man that he actually visited was using something else besides him sleeping with her. There was also another thing that was actually sleeping with
Yeah,
her. But because the phone was on, she
yeah,
could see what this animal was coming, the animal that was actually coming. And she immediately just ran, and being naked like that got into this particular car. So which therefore says there is also a danger. And precisely because somebody I am which is correct, Bongs. People are thinking about what they are going to get once they sleep with Saifo. Once they sleep with Saifo, because Saifo has money, so they think that they are going to be able to buy a Gucci bag, a Louis Vuitton, the Real Macoya, and whatsoever, or they will be bought even a car and whatsoever. But at the expense of the loss of their soul in a process.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
sorry, my bra, sorry, very sorry for for I was
Not
not.
welcoming you.
Um, I saw you, and I thought I needed to take them line by line, but also I knew that Ausna lady is not the kind that actually stays for a long time. There is something that she has actually observed as a chief moderator that she would actually be able to share with us. You are welcome. We are welcome. How are you?
Before I
Hello,
want to step
Sanbona.
in to say something. Sawubona baba. Let me just respond to Mapalane. She asked if yes, Mapalani, witchcraft is available, it's working, is there, and talking from experience because of I'm from the bloodline of Sangomas, both parents on both sides. My father, my grandfather from my father's side was a Sangoma. My grandmother from my mother's side was a Sangoma, and my great grandparents too. So in my bloodline, from my father's side, he had this. It's like Agitore in Setswana, in my language we call it chipapani. Ke le raka le la o se jiu le soft skin wa le bona le o krang tsa megope ka lona. Yeah, his powers they are he died many years ago, but his power the powers that he used, they were using these things during the war times when they were fighting for their land. So that thing will tell them, will warn them about the dangers and everything. So some Tongas, most Tongas in Guyana, they know it as Shipapansham Gilo Gilo. It's from my family, that thing. That thing, it's so powerful that even today no one can destroy it. It survive on its own, but unfortunately someone corrupted it by using blood. So now no one is allowed to use it anymore for any protection or any some sort. But yes, Mapalani, witchcraft is alive and it's possible. And yeah, baka go lawyer mama, some especially through me banyaka ba bona gore wena Maphalane o tsere sipho ola ne ba monyaka wa itse ditedunyana tsela tsa hae ba ka se tlhole ba di brush ba ka o lawyer Maphalane ba ka o bereka wa itse wa ya dipirotong o ska stop until e teng mama boloi bo teng ka nnete, it's alive.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Saifo. Nkosa,
All right.
sorry for keeping you that long. I suppose the reason is that there's so much that you go into to highlight, to clarify us. Nkosa, over to you, bro.
Thank you, Baba. And
It's a
also
pleasure.
afternoon to your listeners. And College and Jogusis, I forgot the name. I'm still new with the app. I can't
Yeah.
mute myself, so I'll learn as I
Okay.
go. So one thing that brought me to this topic, I think Machapalele was speaking about something, and I thought let me just jump in here. So there's one thing that I wanted to highlight because he made a comparison between women and men in terms of being safe in terms of finances and all the likes. And I wanted to maybe clarify and demystify certain things because it's a complex topic, by the way, and especially when you look at other things that he was mentioning. A man by God design is a provider, is a giver. Women they receive from men. And if you're also looking also from genetics, men they give. Now, when I looked at Machapalele when he was making a comparison about men and saying, if you look at men, majority of them, you find them in instances where they are what you call, what's the word, lack of a better word, their cars being repossessed or they buy cars as opposed to houses. Now, my worry here is that we have been conditioned. Mina njengokubuya kwami njengomZulu as a Zulu guy. We had this belief ukuthi indoda ubuhle bendoda inkomo zayo. So for us to be able to be accepted by society and also be accepted by people around us, we normally flash these things, whether it can be a car, whether it can be a house, whether it can be clothes. Those things, they make me acceptable among society. And you may find in such instances when I find a good woman, not because that good woman came in and became a savior. It's because now I've found the right person. Now I'm able to make the right decision. It's not that men can't make the right decision. Men can, they can. But in the stage where they're still looking for women or they're still looking for the right partners, they tend to flash things. That's why we have connotations of blessers. We've got connotation of blessees. There are men who are labeled as blessers, but when you look at them, not really they being blessers, they're trying to find themselves in a sense that they're using monetary value to find the right women, to lure them in their whatever vision or whatever that they want to achieve. So that's why I wanted to classify, because ngize ngabona no Sis Lerate ethi no, then it becomes an issue, because then it means men are broken. We're not really broken, because I'm talking from example, from experience. Uguti, I've been there where my car was repossessed. I knew all Uguti, I couldn't afford that car, but the reason why I was doing that, I knew that I was not going to be accepted by society at the time. In fact, women, if I'm going to be specific, I was not going to be accepted by women. Even now, if I'm driving my Picanto, I'm looked as if I'm not worthy being a man. That's where my problem is. So sometimes we need to, because this thing is very complex, because nanemfundiso yethu, where we were conditioned with ubuhle bethu inkomo like mina ngazi kanja. So I'm gonna just leave it there, ngapapalazi on the topic, because I see the topic has gone too far. Thanks.
Goza, thank you so much for the contribution. I see that Unoni, like Ausnaledi Machapelele, once once he comes in, I know that there's something that she has actually picked up. Please, Bongs, could I allow you first?
Yes, and thanks for that, Uncle B. Again, being raised by a Zulu man, knowing and understanding what Umgoza was saying. But in that teaching, and obviously we come from different families, in that teaching, one thing that stood out for me, and it was said very well by Uyingoma, is that mastery of Isibongo Sagini, you know. So when you are more concerned about igini, ukuthuthukisa igini, ile nto kuthiwa uyinkunzi ngakini, uyinkunzi kini, they mean that you are more concerned about the basics. I find it so concerning and rather disturbing when men are out here saying we want to appease the society and everything. And I'm like, Kandikin bakufundiseni. And should you be a man that maybe does not have that household, do some self-introspection, that self-mastery of taking notes. I have observed the failures of those that have come before me. Now you go and duplicate them because we want the acceptance of the world. So, and like, whose problem is this? You know, so we can go around in circles talking about how women are making it and in men being broken or not, the denial thereof. But I would always, like, I'm raising my son, I would always say, circle back to uyinkunzi. Do you understand? Isibongo sakini is your pride and joy. If awuzelanga uzokuthuthukisa isibongo sakini, trust me, you are not going to master it out there. So it's all about you, this thing. Can you own it and say, oh crap, in my 20s I messed up financially. Let me clean that nonsense up because I never want to be this. Like, just own it.
Yeah.
Because we can't say men are buying cars, women are buying houses. Women are doing both. But women have prioritized. Hence, you can't come here and dictate to me what must happen. Because mina ekhaya kubhekwe mina. Because nina nikwa ngithi nihamba ngama-Mercedes away a1 million. You know, so it's very deep, this thing, but it all circles back to the individual. So can men just start taking pride in themselves? Because isibongo sakho is really, it carries weight in who you are as a man, how you define yourself, how you wanna craft your lineage going forward. And that's just my 2 cents on the matter. Thanks, Uncle B. I'll step down.
Bongs, thank you so much. I suppose it is not even about Isbongos again. It's about you building the tribe that you want to, because most probably there is Isbongo, but that particular Sbongo does not actually give you that particular tribe. And most probably you then begin to say, let me let me build this particular tribe so that it begins to affect even generations to come. And thank you so much. I'm just saying we to add to the issue here, yes, Bongo, because there are people who have changed surnames precisely because this particular surname, it's like I'm seven Z at all, you know, and they would choose something else that would actually make them to go to another level. Machepelele.
Yes, yes, Uncle B. I just came back because the man there, what's his name? The guy who was talking about, this can also be spiritual.
Because surname
Yeah,
is not about the
yeah,
name,
yeah,
guys. It's
Being
literally
to
yeah.
say
about
that
your
we're not
lineage.
turning bongs.
Are you still there,
And,
Machepelele?
I was saying, Uguti Machepe, I just wanted to respond to somebody who kept saying surname, surname, surname. What if you want to change your surname?
Oh,
Do
okay.
that, be that as it may. What we're talking about is your lineage, not legacy yomkhulu bakho ongasabafuni now wena self. We're talking about your lineage. So self-mastery,
Yeah,
self-craft, self-pioneering.
yeah,
Do you understand? You are sick and tired of the nonsense that has been happening before you. Now you are saying the onus is on me, and I am fully not responsible for the mishaps that have happened to me that were out of my control. But the choices I make as an adult, self-mastery, is entirely my fault.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
No.
that is why I call about. That's why I'm using the word tribe. What is that you're actually building and yourself, you know, going forward, and the influence that you even
No,
give to
you can
generations to
answer
come.
yourself there.
Eh?
Okay.
No, I'm just responding to Dino because he keeps saying, "What if he doesn't want to build his own?" Then that's up to you. Again, we are not pointing a gun on your head. If you like the mess you are in, kudos to you. Continue. Thumbs up.
Okay. No.
Yeah,
I hear what you're saying,
but
Bongs. I just came back because Saiful took it to a spiritual level,
Mm.
and
yeah,
I just came back to say when we were talking, we were not really turning a blind eye on that, right? We were just
mm,
talking
mm,
about things that everyone can understand. To say that okay, this is what is happening here. We as men, when we start our careers or whatever it is that we do, we please women,
Mm.
and the very same women, trust me, women are very wise when it comes to money. I think that's why the Bible called them helpers. um we are not that wise, Bonks. Trust me, I've been young and I've misused a whole lot of things, and most women that I've started my careers with, they are in a better space now. Most women, most men are rectifying mistakes, but most women
Yeah.
financially they are way better than us. And it's only now that we are saying, okay, where did I go wrong? How do I rectify this? You know, now we are playing catch up, and it's really hard being a man because you're the one who initiate dates. Can I take you out on a date? Is it allowed to take you to KFC? No. Okay, where do we go? You get what I'm saying? When we get there, me being me, I'll be thinking, yo, I spent 700 rand or 1,000 rand, and for me, it as a man, I'm like, I know it was not that much. But for a woman to take a man out and say I'm going to spend that much, it's something else. Women save, we men we bless, and it's in the nature of any man. We bless. But anyway, I wanted to touch base on Cypher's point when he was talking about this whole thing being spiritual. We're not turning a blind eye. It's on that because we sex is spiritual and sex is a blood covenant. As sacred. So that is why in you see women every month they go on a period where there's blood coming out and then okay, we're talking spiritual things now. We're not talking about biology. And even when in most cases, not all cases, when you break a woman's virginity, there's a blood that comes out, right? And even if you read your Bible as Christians, the Bible says, Christ says, can you guys still hear me?
I'm hearing.
Can you
We are
still hear
listening.
me? Okay. Christ says, I'm the husband and the church is the wife. And the reason for that is he knew very well that there will be a blood covenant between me and the church. Right. So as we sleep with each other, we have sex, we exchange spirits, and that is a blood covenant that is very hard to break. So when that is why maybe when Uktwala and they say go sleep around, because they know that that is a blood covenant and it's not easy for you. I'll sleep with you once and then I'll leave you. And then there's a covenant between me and you that you're not aware of. And then now I leave you just thinking, okay, fine, we just had sex. You're not aware that there's a covenant. We are yoked. There's a covenant between me and you. And for you to break that covenant is gonna be very hard. So we're not turning a blind eye on that cipher. We know and we understand. Or abantu bayathwala and they sleep around to get more power, right? Because we agree, as we have sex, we agree, but we are not even aware of what we are agreeing to. You just having sex, you don't know what you're getting yourself into. It's only the person who instructed me as a man to sleep around, who understand me as a man. I know I gain more power and I get more money. I don't even know what is it that I'm transferring to you as I sleep with you. It's only those dark or secret places that know or understand what is going on. So it can be that deep. I just came in to say that, okay, as much as we're saying most men are prodigals, they don't know how to handle their own affairs, we are not turning a blind eye to the fact that we do know that abantu bayatwala and they gain more power through sex. Even with me, when I get married and I have sex, my marriage is not marriage up until I sleep with my wife.
In
We
actual
can
fact,
do the ceremony, we can do whatever,
Machapelele,
but my marriage is not a marriage up until we are not one, up until we go to bed and have sex. Sex is sacred and people should treat it as such. It's way deeper than just having a quickie.
One thing that you need we need to understand as well, in terms of legally as well, we need to be able to understand one thing, that once you get married, to somebody. Okay. Once you get married to someone,
Daddy, I want the heart. I also want the
the
heart.
law stipulates that marriage can be annulled in case there is no element of sex in it. All right. So which therefore says that's how binding that issue is on life. But let me also, I thank you so much, Machapelele, especially raising the issue of the spirituality level of it. And I'm glad that you have raised that. I think I'll go a little bit deeper when it comes to it at some point. Ausna lady?
Uncle B, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I didn't want to join in when this now is going to spirituality, but Machapele, my brother, you are on the right track. And Nomi, let me just explain something. It doesn't mean if you have slept with 10 people, you've actually had soul ties with 10 people. There are people that are naughty. Hona le batho ba stowed. So maybe out of the 10, 5, you will have soul ties to. I hope you understand that. But anyway, Uncle B, as I was here earlier, I think I did touch on that remember these blessers, there is a category of women that they are looking for. And
Okay.
even those women, there is type of women who are looking for those types of blessers. That's why Kiri, when blesser and blessee, they come to an agreement. Yahore na, I will do 1, 2, 3 for you, and you are going to do 1, 2, 3 for me. But I like the point that Bongs touched when she was here. She said, in the long run, being a blesser or blessee, these people end up having babies. And that is where Bongs was coming with the topic here, the surnames. We can be starting off as flashing, as showing off. Oh, I have a Maserati, I have a Range Rover, I have a Land Rover. But where is it heading us to? And in most cases, these things that include the blessers and blessee, they have ended up in something that Sipo touched on, which is you will never be pregnant to full term because that fetus that is in your stomach, that is what they are looking for. And that is what is making them stronger. And that is what is making them be the blesser that we are calling them. And please, all the people that are here, we are not saying all the blessers are like this. We are saying most. Please understand. Because hona le motho o tlo kenang hona jwanong a re ao until the blessers di so. Guys, sorry, those in the comment section, I cannot see anything. So maybe once I log off, I will read. Anyway, as I'm talking, we are talking about 80% of blessers. Now, there is a reason why a person becomes a blesser. It's not like Uncle B will wake up this morning and say, voila, I'm a blesser. No. It takes a lot. You actually go through, it is a journey for you to be a blesser. And by the time you realize, hore nna, as Uncle B, I want to be a blesser, is because you know what is it that you are spreading to these AMA 2000 or whoever that you are falling in love with. That's why we said a blesser, there is a certain kind of a woman that they are looking for. And even those women, there is a certain kind of a woman that is looking for a certain type of a blesser.
Right.
So in this lifetime, Uncle B, Eric said this point, in this lifetime, it's not that we are all going to be blessers and we are all going to be blessees. That is from my side, Uncle B.
Okay, just hold on there. Don't leave. And I just want to clarify, if I'm able to, just to clarify something. To say, do you know that if you sleep with a person, it's easy for them to be able to make jujus on you because you have exchanged.
Yes, yes, Uncle B,
All right.
because
So what I'm saying,
liquids have changed.
I'm
Yes,
aware of that fact as well.
yes.
and the reason why I'm saying this, Ausnali, is because I so that we are not in error, to be able to say we know that once you are there, it means there was basically this is how sex works in my understanding as Ubusang. All right, there is an exchange not only of semen. All right, there is exchange of the blood, there is an exchange of the soul, there is exchange of the spirit, but more so, you are also exchanging things that you actually say immediately after that. So, which therefore says you're creating, all right, you're creating a soul tie. That is why it is one of the most difficult things to be able to deal with. But also, I want to come to this point that I had an opportunity to be able to pray for a number of women that have actually slept with these particular pastors that are jujus. All right. One other aspect that you see with them is that everything else that they normally would have actually amassed, it crumbles. It's like somebody is actually stealing and they are stealing what you actually have, and it's true, Osnalet, they know exactly who they are actually looking for, because that would escalate their level as well. That is why there are others who even go to a level where they begin to sacrifice these particular women. We know a lot of women, we call it a GBV, but we also understand there is also a spiritual side of it that actually happens, you know. So we need to, and thank you so much as well, Ausna lady, but we need to be able to understand, Dore, once you sleep with someone, and there are people, most probably you do it innocently, but there are people that you actually begin to sleep with that you are not even supposed to sleep with, that begins to withdraw even your generational deposits or generational investments, or that would go throughout the years. So we need to be able to, what I'm saying is we need to also be careful around that. Machapelele?
I think he's gone,
Osnaledi?
Uncle B.
Oh, he's
Yeah,
gone.
I
He's
think
gone.
he's gone. Yeah,
Michelle,
anyway,
welcome.
Uncle B, the
Afternoon,
point
good
that I want to
afternoon.
make, can I just make one point
Yeah.
and then zoom off?
Hi, Austin
Michelle,
lady, I have a
hello.
question
Yeah.
for
Hello, my
Hi,
sister.
Austin lady. Kupa uskata Maya, I have a question for you.
Go ahead.
Okay. You said something about soul ties, maybe out of the 10, only 5. I wanted you to clarify, because you said only the naughty ones. What did you mean? Because
Okay.
I thought each and every person is a soul tie. So can you
All right.
please just clarify that part first?
No problem, Michelle. No problem. Okay. So there was someone as well in the comment section and saying, so it means every time when I sleep with X and Y, I am carrying X and Y. Now, Michelle, when I said the naughty ones is those ones who have actually gone to someone and said, "Ha ke robala le naledi, I want A, B, and C, and D to happen." So that's why I'm saying out of the 10, 5 will be 100% the naughty ones. The ones who know what they are doing with you. But with every sexual contact that you do with someone without a condom, definitely, like Uncle B is saying, it is an exchange of fluids. It is an exchange of semen. It is an exchange of bodily fluids. But I'm saying, when Michelle, that 5 that I counted, is the ones back they wake up in the morning, they wear a shirt, they wear a tie, and they know what they are doing. They know I'm going to target Michelle, Sophie, Ntabi, Lina Lady. We understand. So that's why I'm saying those ones are confirmed soul ties. I hope I made sense.
Can I?
Yes, you do make sense. Can I ask one more question? I'm just here for the questions, guys.
Wait, Michelle.
Okay.
Wait, Michelle. Before you jump into that one, I think I need to clarify. I was trying to clarify my understanding, all right, in terms of what actually happens during sex and exchange, why we call it a soul tie, all right. One thing that we need to understand, that is why the word would say sex before marriage is actually a sin, all right? Because you are sinning against your body, all right? Now, which therefore says you are actually giving yourself away to the other person, because the sex itself is actually saying you are now married to this particular person. That's why we call it a sexual tie. It's a soul tie, precisely because condom, it does not even get to a point of beginning to explain what actually happens, because you think you are protected, but the truth remains that you can't. Once those that have gone through orgasm, they would understand that once you get into that space of being of orgasm, you can't explain that particular moment where we were at. That's how spiritual this thing is.
Okay, so if it's not an
I don't
orgasm,
know
it's not.
if I explain.
I
Okay,
want you to
Michelle,
explain this part. Uncle D, you
even
said at the point of
even
reaching
through
orgasm.
even
Wait,
through
Asnaledi.
sweat, Michelle, even through sweat. That's why I'm
Okay,
answering.
as long
Even through
as
sweat.
something is
Yeah.
coming out of you.
Yeah.
Okay, tell me this then. How protected are the ones who are raped? Because this is not their choice. They are dragged, they are raped, and these people want to do something because of they're gonna gain something from these people, because maybe of a bloodline of some sort, and the strength in their bloodline. How then protected are they? Because they are not consenting to the sex. So how does that work in terms of these things, and in terms of the blessee type of issue, or in terms of people wanting to use their semen or their dondoni, their sweat, whatever that they have? How does that work?
Okay, Michelle, let's analyze a rapist first. A rapist is someone that their mind is not stable, correct?
Okay, yes, Asnaledi, let's go.
Thank you.
I'm listening.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that confirmation, because for me to make the next point, I need to make sure we are on the same page.
Okay,
Now,
let me clarify something. What if someone is told, Ugozi, you have to get a girl from that house in order for you to have money? Well, understand that person state of mind has that mentality. In order for me to have this money, I have to get one person from that house. And obviously, no one wants me from that house. So let me go get. So that state of mind is not really disturbed or whatever. It has a mentality. I need to gain something, and that person can give it to me. I'm talking about that case.
so now, Michelle, you agree that we're gonna go through what if. But anyway, I will answer the next scenario that you've made. Now, remember when this blesser wears the shirt and the tie, and the aim is to go to the Shabalala clan and sleep with Naledi from the
Yes.
Shabalala clan. Yes. Yeah, I know it's gonna be next. What if? That's how the scenarios are going now. So
This blesser wakes up in the morning, puts on a shirt, puts on a tie, and the aim is to go into the Shabalala clan and sleep with Naledi, because this blesser has understood his assignment. Hore, when he sleeps with someone from that clan, utlo twala, right? Utlo ba rich. His riches
Yeah.
will be, yes, will be till infinity. Now, remember when Naledi gets into a sexual encounter with Blesser A. Okay, let's call him Blesser A. Now, remember, Naledi does not know the intentions of Blesser A.
Yeah.
So, in that manner, Wena Michelle, you can tell that now the story is going to change.
Yeah.
There will still be a soul tie because of the aim, ya Blesser A.
Okay.
I hope it is. Can I go have breakfast, guys? Can I just have breakfast? I'll be back.
Okay. All right, Asna lady. Maybe Uncle will answer
Yeah.
me. You can go have breakfast, Asna lady. Uncle B. My thing is, right, the soul tie is created unintentionally on
Yeah.
this woman, right? And
Yeah.
now someone is coming to violate her, to take
Yeah.
whatever power, to create whatever mutu or whatever strength that he needs. How is that valid for him? And what can she do, Yena, to protect herself, or not for that thing to be effective?
Well, Michelle, that's quite a difficult question for me to be able to answer, because I'm just thinking now, as you're talking, I'm actually thinking about this to say, what are, if somebody is somebody who is innocent, all right? For somebody who's innocent, who is actually being attacked by whoever, whether it's Oti or anything, and they die in a process. And I'm asking myself, how would they have actually been able to protect themselves? Most probably, I might not be able to answer that one, precisely because either what they have, because remember, there is either, well, in an African traditional way, they would go to a level of saying they need to have cleansing. But in a sense, as a Christian as well, I'll say they need an element of deliverance. So that,
Okay,
and remember that
Uncle,
deliverance as well.
Uncle, there's Saifo. He says he has an answer for me. Can you please let him in? I see Bonks as well is here. Can you please just let them in? Maybe they can answer me.
Yeah. Saifo.
Okay. Yeah.
Uncle B, sorry, Saifo. I just want to add to Michelle's question before you answer me, so that you give us both the same answer. So I guess Michelle is talking about a child that has been raped or a woman that has been raped without her consent, or
Yeah.
a
Yes.
person that has decided ukuthi uyathwala, and then they go and they are not dating anyone from that family, but because now they have to go get what they need to get, either bazomheha or try to be in a relationship or actually rape the person. Irregardless, it is still then counting as rape. So my just to top up on what she's asking, do you just do cleansing, knowing or unknowing that you need deliverance from this, or is it something when something bad has happened to you, and remember that some victims don't talk about it, and now
Yes.
unknowingly have this attachment or this bondage over their lives? So I'll wait for your response.
Yes, especially children, weather
Okay.
bongs, because a child cannot tell what just happened to them,
Mm.
and most
And they don't talk
oftentimes when
about
they don't,
it.
exactly, so
Mm.
they don't know how to cleanse themselves or what to do afterwards, or whatever the situation is. So it would be really nice to
Mm.
know deeper in this matter. Thank you,
Oh,
Saifo.
okay.
Saifo.
Ladies, let me say, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Unfortunately, being innocent in this case, it's something else because of, remember, the perpetrator know exactly what they are doing. That's what matters the most. They are targets, and obviously, when they target you as the innocent, that's what they want from you. But now, how can we help this poor soul? As, like, let's say me, because of me, I have this knowledge because of, as I've said, I'm from the bloodline of Sangomas. So if, let's say, my daughter, she's raped, okay, I will take her to hospital to get checked in, like, for blood and to see if any infection. But after that, then I will take her to the Sangoma to say, please, can you look in the spirit level if this person did not leave anything within my daughter or did not take anything to within from my daughter. And then, because of what I know, the reason I'll do that, I'll take my child to the Sangoma, is because of, I know, because of these soul ties and stuff like that, you see. So unfortunately, if you are from the family that does not know about this thing, but if you believe in Jesus Christ and God and Jehovah as our Lord, you can also go to your church and let the church, the pastor, pray for this, read the scriptures, because of, in the Bible there are scriptures that tells you how to free yourself from the soul ties. So they can pray for you, they can pray for this child, and they can pray for this person, and she can the scriptures will tell her exactly how to be and how to free yourself from this. And the child or the person, the victim will get help. But in an African way, obviously you need a Sangoma to can come and say, no, the person who raped you, actually the rape was not just a rape because of he was horny. No, he wanted something from you and he got it, or he left something in you, we need to take it out. Yeah, but so, but now then again, kube ne issue with, now we have these bogus Sangomas who are like also the same thing that you will be running away from. You're running away from is the person who raped you because of afuna something, and you go to a Sangoma who will tell you that, no, I need to sleep with you to take out that thing. That's a nonsense. Once a Sangoma tells you that they need to sleep with you to take out that thing, they are the same as the person who slept with you. You stay away from such people. You need a Sangoma who will tell you that, no, this thing, I'm going to do this and this, and then you'll be fine. Or you need to make a small sacrifice, and I'll bath you, and you don't have to sleep with anyone for anything. Once you start sleeping with anyone, you must know that the person is not, the intention is not going to help you, but is going to take from you.
So would you just recommend that we just do cleansing then, just in general, for
If,
those
yeah,
that are maybe that were not aware that, okay, this mishap happened to me, and I might actually be struggling because of these things, or somebody
yeah,
that doesn't know, a child, would you recommend that they start earlier, or you as a mother, you should just have them get cleansed, just
yeah,
in general,
you as a
because
mother, you
you
can
know
do that.
children
No,
don't talk again, victims don't talk again,
yeah,
and
no,
like what would be your recommendation just in general,
no,
so that you avoid
fortunately,
finding out later.
no, fortunately, it doesn't. It doesn't have a statute of limitation. As
Okay.
soon as you, like, sometimes you can find out when maybe you are an old woman, and then you know that that thing happened long time ago. Even you
Mm,
even suppressed it to the point that you don't even
mm,
remember it. And now you see
mm,
that everything,
yeah.
every time you try to do something, something falls apart. You try to pull your life, and then you actually say, okay, this I can't go to a Western doctors. I need a prophet, or I need a Sangoma. And you find that,
Mm,
okay, the Sangoma, once they do that, then they tell you that, no, there is something that
mm,
happened years ago that
mm,
it was that is now affecting this. What happened? Some, they will not even tell you. They will rather want to hear from you. They will still remember what happened. Then when you don't
mm,
remember, they'll say, no, there is someone who invaded your space without your consent. And then you'll
okay.
be, oh yeah, I know I was raped long time ago. Do you know the person? No, it was my neighbor, or it was my uncle. Then they will say, now that's where the problem lies, because of that person, when he did that, he collected this or he left this on you. You see, then now we have to work around this. Then again, also, when you are a Christian, you don't need to go to a Sangoma. Just go to your pastor and say, Pastor, my life is falling apart. Then the preachers who knows these things, because of but the Bible confess about spiritual things and the evilness of the spiritual beings. It's there in the Bible. Everything. There's nothing that we do under the sun that is not in the Bible. So it's
Amen.
easy. There are scriptures that will tell you exactly what to do to get yourself safe from this thing. Unfortunately, because of we more of a quick fix thing, will rather settle too much on sangomas rather than to actually go to the high and mighty God. But and then again, because of our differences belief, then yeah, it does. So it's up to you and your belief. If you feel like no, Sangoma will do for you, then please go to the Sangoma. But if you believe that in Jesus Christ you will be saved, then go to your Jesus Christ. And then at the end of the day, you will get that help. Believe me, in these two both sides, you will get help. But with God, it's guaranteed. With Sangomas, you might find this bogus Sangomas who might even take advantage of you. Like me, I had a soul tie. I only found out like a year ago because of I was like, no, something is not going, like especially in the relationship side. Then only to find out that there is someone that I was not like I knew she was my girlfriend. I stayed with her for years. And then we broke up because of she did was not, to me she looked like she was not serious because she did not want me to marry her or have kids with me. But after we've been together for 7 years, so I was like, no, I'm not going anywhere with this person. Then I broke up, but only to find out a year ago that that lady, she made me her spiritual husband. So I'm her husband whether I like it or not. So even if I marry someone, my marriages will never like flourish because of she made me her husband. So but fortunately, I'm not an aggressive person. I went to her and I spoke to her and I even told her that, Joe, you need to release me because of at the end of the day, there's no way me and you, we can ever get back together. And obviously, you know how we broke up. You know you were wrong because of you never gave me any reason to stay. I wanted to marry you. You refused three times in 4 years. You refused, and you told me. And obviously, you were making valid reasons. So there was no reason for me to can contest your reasons because of they were valid. For you, they were valid, but for me, I had a plan for my life, and then I did not want to see myself in this time and with this place. So you see, so obviously, after we spoke to her, and then she said, "Okay, no, it wasn't like that. As no, I'm not fighting. I just want you to release me because of I don't want to go to that person and say no. You need to now to force her out, which obviously it will affect her. You see, then obviously she did whatever, and then I went back and they said, no, now you are fine because of the person actually released you from her side rather than, you see. So those things are there, my dear, unfortunately.
Right,
Okay.
Michelle. Michelle.
I think I'm gonna get out right now because I
No.
want
Wait.
Uyingona to come. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Michelle. Before
Yes,
you
Uncle.
leave,
Okay.
I would love you to also share in terms of what is your thinking around it in terms of how to deal with it.
How to deal with soul ties.
That which you have actually asked.
Oh, okay. Um, can we start here? Because I feel like a lot of people um have this misconception that we are what is important is the physical, but we need to understand that the yearn of sexual desires and whatnot stems from the spiritual, and we are actually spiritual beings more than we are physical. So whatever
Yeah.
that we're doing in the physical is just a manifestation of who we are inside. And another thing, when I was asking about these babies and the people who actually molested or raped or whatever, is because I know and I've seen people who grow up having trouble to sleep or being tormented in their sleep and not understanding what that is. And
Yeah.
I want us to understand that ukuthi a spiritual, when someone is sleeping with you, it is a spiritual exchange. It's not just merely bodies coming together, but it is deeper than that. And when you are exchanging your spirit, you are making a covenant, and there's power in agreement. There is power in every agreement. For something to stand, we have to agree. This is why businesses that are thriving are based with a lot of people who come into agreement, so that they stand for the one thing, and then they can go their separate ways when that one thing is strong and is standing. So we need to understand also, if it happens in the physical, it also happens in the spiritual. If I am agreeing with someone, if I'm going to sleep with a man right now, and we are coming in agreement that we are sleeping together, I need to especially if it is something that I'm not willing to do, or if I am being molested or raped, and if it is okay, let me put it this way. You see, a victim is able to go to court and press charges for the person to be arrested or make the person pay for what they did. Also in the spiritual, if someone is forcing themselves on you, and it is, you have done the part, you cried for help, no one came for you and whatnot, and you did not consent to it, it is exactly the same thing. No one can take whatever that is yours and get away with it, because it every place there's a law. There's spiritual laws and there's physical laws. And this is how we can go and grow and be groomed into who we're supposed to be. When Yingoma said that we need, unfortunately, there's minimum people who are true or who are pure. I wanted to state this fact that only when you were saying that we should approach, when Cypher was saying we should approach the preachers at church, but you need to remember who you are approaching and in what terms, because as I am, I need to be able to pray and ask for guidance from God if I need to go to the person, or if I can directly go to God myself, because the ones that are able to achieve or reach the things of the spirit are the ones who are pure in heart. And we need to understand that purity does not necessarily mean sleeping around or whatever. It actually means your heart, your mind, and your body are one. And to obtain that, you need to get closer to the Creator. And for us to be able now to say, I need cleansing, you go back to your Creator and say, Lord, I did not want this to happen, and it happened this way. Or even if you did do it consensually, and now you are regretting because you did not have information. Because the Bible does say we perish because of the lack of information. So we need to go back and say, Mdali, I made a mistake. I made decisions without getting the full knowledge of. I do not want to perish. And now please lead me or guide me to a place, or guide me and so that I can be able to obtain the purity and cleanse me. And then God is going to let you know how to cleanse yourself, or God is going to direct you where you need to get that specific cleansing, because umuntu ngumuntu ngabantu, and we are placed on this earth, some as carriers and some as helpers. And some, when we looking for direction, God is going to point us to the right direction, to the right person, so that we do not get lost along the way.
That is so. I can agree more, Michelle. But I suppose it is a point where somebody, either they need help or they know exactly what they need to do. All right.
Yes.
In terms of, because remember, people will go in different places precisely because some people might actually be able to say, okay, this was just a rape. We only taking it to the police, and that's how far it would actually go. But most probably, as they grow, when things begin to go west, and most probably, then they are able to say, where else can we actually be able to get this particular help? Could it be a pastor? Because a lot of people that we meet today, some of them have been raped as children, and they are only telling you as a pastor now. They've never even told their parents. Nobody knows in the family. All right.
Yeah.
So, and I agree with the fact, Yaori, who is this pastor who's actually praying for you? Because one thing
Yes.
that you need to also understand is that the purity of the heart is very key, and I suppose Job even says that in Job 22 verse 28 to 30, to say even those, I mean, because of the purity of the heart, a lot of people are able to be saved through the purity of the heart.
Yes.
And thank you.
Can I
Yeah,
I'm gonna leave just now. I just wanted to
yeah,
answer Usma Tatsane.
yeah,
There's this thing about Christians that gets them stuck in situations for a very long time. She
yeah,
says, so I'm sure prayer will be powerful. Uh, it depends what type of prayer. Smart Tata, there's situations where you are sitting on the couch and you want water and then you start praying. The tap is not going to open itself and bring the water to you. You need to understand the type of prayers that you are praying to the Lord, and you need to understand what there are some situations that require you to do an action behind your prayer. This is why it says faith without works is dead, because not everything is solved by prayer. Prayer is the communication line that we communicate with our Lord to tell us what to do in some instances. Not every instance is solved by prayer. Some are. And some, while you are praying, the Lord will say to you, fast for 3 days or fast for 7 days. That is an action beyond prayer. So let's not rely on only saying, "Ukuthi, I'm going to pray until, and then the Lord, while you are praying, says to you, fast for 3 days, but you're still standing in prayer and you're not doing that action, what you are being told at that time. So even in prayer, let's remember, ukuthi, we are communicating with Umdali, someone we are connected to already. And whenever we pray to him, he hears us. Again, it has to do with the purity and the connection that we have with him. So we need to understand what, as we're doing all of these things, let us not be ignorant and think ukuthi, just because in Tandazile that thing has moved away. And this is why we find ourselves in cycles. And uthola ukuthi umuntu, she was raped at 5, she's going to be raped at 12, she's raped at 17,
yeah,
she keeps
yeah.
on praying without the action, because that spirit now is following you around and you don't understand why. So we need to understand, when we pray, we have to have effective prayers. It is a communication line, and we must be able to receive what God is saying to us. I'm going to leave it that.
Actually, Michelle, welcome, Andy. Just hold on a minute. Michelle, you're actually reminding me of something. I remember while I was still working in Cape Town, right? This lady had a very bad and bad kind of bad marriage in a way, because the husband was a bit abusive, and I only learned at that time when the issue I'm about to talk about. Oh, Bongs, can I get back to that? Can we get back to that? Michelle, read what Bongs is actually saying.
Can I get a
um, this lady had a very odd relationship with her husband, very kind of abusive, non-caring. It's like, I remember at some point I met her while we were at the mall in a shop, in a hypermarket. The husband was standing there at the till while she was doing grocery. All right. That's how bad things were. I mean, he could not even walk with her inside the mall. The only thing was that so what you need to do is you'll do what to do, and I'll wait for you, and I'll take you back home, leave you there, and go where I want to go, and come back on Tuesday. Now, then I go, and because we are staying in the same flat, I go and visit her. We were sitting, and now she started crying, because one pastor was talking about the situation where she is, and I started asking her to say, what actually happened with you? Is there any man that you ever slept with, or were you even raped? I'm reminded now of this thing. Were you even raped? Only to find that this woman was not only raped once by 9 people, she was raped twice. by 9 to 10 people. And she carried that particular pain, and she would even get to a point of being able to say, I wish they die. And some of the men actually died in the process. All right. But this is what I had to do. Bongs. I had to move from a premise of saying, we cut in ties with those particular men, because much as they've enforced themselves, those standards are still standing. But it is easy for you to be able to cut those particular ties. So we did that. We did forgiveness as well. All right. We did an element of forgiveness. And then from there, what I had to do is, not only did I wash her feet, but I was able to open up a bathtub and prayed for the water. I poured oil, I poured salt in that and prayed for the water. And I said to her, I'm going to leave. You're going to enter into that particular water. And guess what would happen? You need to bask and pray for yourself even in that. A week later, the man who did not even know Utumfazi Magazekaya from Cape Town, what does he do? He calls her and says, I know that you're coming. Can I come and fetch you at the airport? And this woman is saying to me, there were miracles that actually happened immediately after that. The second thing that he was able to do was to say, as he's taking her to the shops, she says, when for the first time in 15 years, this guy is walking with a woman aisle to aisle, to a point that when they got to the till, this man said, no, baby, don't pay. Can I do the payment? Because that was her responsibility. She comes to me, Michelle, and tells me all these particular stories. And I just felt in my heart to say, I don't know why I had to give her that particular directive. I said to her, Ngela Huti, with the 6,000 that you have actually saved, just go and buy your husband 2 shirts, just to show that you are actually appreciative of what he has actually done. I suppose you know the history behind it. She forgot, or rather, she did not even do. But the rest is history. But what I'm trying to say is, prayer, it's very helpful. It can be very, and it can break some of the iron bars in the lives of people. Am I right, Misha?
Yeah, prayer is key. I believe Ogoti, prayer is key. Let me paint a scenario for Ubongsne. God had a covenant with David about bringing his line will always have a king in his line, right? And in order for Jesus to come through, he had to come through the line of David. So as Jesus is being prepared to come, there's a Virgin Mary that is supposed to be married to Joseph from the line of David. Now, the reason they are recognized, Bongs, is because it's a marriage covenant. And you must remember the marriage covenant is not only for Jesus to come through, but it's for the whole entire bloodline. And as we keep saying, we are in committed relationships with boyfriends that are not even known or not even supposed to be part of our journey. This is why it is very important. What I believe, I'm not going to say everybody, what I believe is God honors marriage because it is a covenant that he is invited in as the author of marriage. So when we are talking about marriage, it's something different than when we are talking about relationships, because what we put together versus what God puts together is 2 different things. You might even pray until the sun comes in the morning, and your response will still be, you cannot be with this person until that person is chosen for you by God. You will realize, Guti, when you are in relationship, sometimes we experience hardship because of the people that we have chosen that are not supposed to be part of our journey. So what I'm trying to say is, if you are praying for soul ties to break, you can't be praying for a soul tie to break while you are creating another soul tie with someone else. You have to be out of a situation in order to break each and every chain. I can't be putting another chain on my ankle and praying that the other two chains break. We need to move away from that and establish, ukuthi, is this the person that I'm supposed to go forth with? Because most of the time the reason kunama relationships that are breaking every day is because we make the choice of who we want to be with instead of the choice being made for us, so that whatever that we're supposed to do can come into fruition. I hope I make sense.
Ingoma,
Oh,
can I let you out for
that is what.
now and come back so that I hear Ubongs, because she says it's not a question, so that she's able to verbalize that. And
Okay,
please,
let me
as
get
you
out.
leave, also request. Right. Let's hear what Bong says. Oh, Michelle is gone. Okay.
Uncle B.
Bongs.
I needed Michelle very desperately.
No, she's here.
Oh,
She's
there
here.
she is.
Yeah.
Okay, you're welcome. So Michelle, my question was around the fact that, okay, now you are with this person, you're in a committed relationship. Can you have your prayers with your partner, or should you be praying while you're intimate with your spouse? And I'm not talking about people who are chosen, people who are married. I'm talking about people who are
I'm gonna say from this side, neighbors, like when you
find
are
out. I'm
praying.
talking about. So I'm talking about people who are in a committed relationship. So until, as and when people are married, so I do get it from the Christianity sense that you shouldn't be actually having sex, because then you don't know if that person is chosen for you by God. So now there's a soul tie and yada 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 yada. But we all know, most people here, maybe 99.9%, we are in relationships and we are being intimate with our spouses. So what is the way forward? Do you just not be intimate with your partner until God gives it a stamp of a go ahead? Or do you say, hey, maybe let us, yes, we will get the revelation, but let's maybe have consent of I'm praying that I don't affect your journey and you don't affect mine. And should it be revealed, and it will be revealed because you are involving God in this matter, then that we shouldn't be in this. That is my only question.
Okay. Okay, now I understand. Okay, when you're praying for about each other or for each other, I think you will not be able to get a clear answer if you are intimate, because intimacy brings you guys even closer and it creates that unit of being one, right? So in order for you to be able to receive a clear message, Bongs must be by herself and Ugai must be by herself, because now we are praying for clarity. Both of us are praying for clarity, right?
Mm-hmm.
I thought you were talking about a cleansing. When it comes to you trying to cleanse yourself, Bongs must be on a journey of cleansing. I'm not saying break up with your man. I'm saying Uguti Bongs must take that journey by herself and cleanse herself, so that whatever or wherever she's going next, she's not bringing everything with her. Yeah. So it is a matter of you both being apart and pray while you are apart. It's not
Praying
like
while
you are
you are
breaking
apart
up.
before you consummate being the intimacy, basically.
Yes.
If I get,
Yes.
okay, I fully understand. I appreciate it. That is in practice in my life. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you. Uncle, let me also get off so that Yingoma can come back.
Okay. No, it's fine. Let's. Yeah,
Thank
it's
you.
okay. I'm not so sure if you really want to leave.
Oh, okay.
Or
I thought
press
that
to
there was
leave,
nothing else
because
Please
to say.
don't leave.
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you,
Andy,
Uncle B.
welcome, Andy.
Good afternoon to everyone.
Hi,
Thank you for
Charity.
holding. Thank you for
Hi,
holding the
hi.
door.
No problem.
Yeah.
My revelation around this topic has always been like this. So I just want to put it out there. Maybe somebody can clarify some other things, because when I had this revelation, I just took it as is, and I've been living by it all the years. You know, that firstly in the Bible, how many marriages are there in the Bible that God specifically talk about, so that we are clear that these people were married? So not finding lot of marriages, but there are a lot of couples that God, acknowledge as couples. But most of their stories will start by so and so met so and so and they had a child. And then as their story goes, we just assume they're husband and wife. But the only marriage is the one in Cana, of which it's also just to display the power of Jesus Christ at a young age that he had. But for any couple in the Bible, their stories start by so and so met as in they had sex and they had a child. And then as the story goes, we get to understand that these people are husband and wife. So that made me to think, that means the first person I sexually have an encounter with, that is my husband. So that is how we're forming these soul ties, because that means my soul is now tied to this person. So that means if we break up, I need to make sure that I spiritually divorce that person as well before moving forward, because already I am married now. No, unknowingly, but I have married myself to this guy by sleeping with him the first time, breaking my virginity through him. And then when we come to how we deliver ourselves in that, there is this prayer I love so much. I've collected so many books written by different people. The prayer of Jabez. You know, the story of Jabez, when it starts, it says her mother got him in sorrow, but we don't understand what is that sorrow, because there's not a long story telling regarding that. It could be she was raped. It could be she was not married. We don't know what was her sorrow when she gave birth to Jabez, because there are other siblings before Jabez, but it's only
Can I
Jabez that
clarify?
she. Yes,
Can I
what?
clarify that one, Andy? And this is a revelation I got. All right.
Yes.
Because Uri, what it says is that the birth of Jabez was the most painful one. All right.
Yes. Yeah.
But what I understood with all this in terms of revelatory knowledge around it was that Jabez was not a child of this man.
Yeah.
All right. Which therefore says either umaga Jabez ulale nomntu. All right.
Yes.
Or it could be that he was not a father to this child, or the father did not believe that this child, it is his.
Yes.
That's the two sides of it, which I got.
Yeah.
He did not. It's like somebody who did not really believe that. Most probably because I guess people would actually go for business, whatever, and they would leave. When they come back, umfazi pregnant, or even umfazi has a child, and
yes,
generally what people would do is to say, no, this is not my child.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
So which means
so
we still don't know whether he was really this man's child or he was another man's child. But the key, what I want to highlight is he was birthed in sorrow, which will be I think the question that was asked earlier. I think I don't know if it's Michelle who asked it. If the child was raped, so where do they go for cleansing? Because they won't even know which this person who raped them. They had intentions of probably destroying their soul or taking whatever blessing that God has bestowed upon them. But now we see Jabez realizing as a young man things are not going well in his life, and he's been cursed by his own mother. So what did he do? He went straight to God and he pleaded his case. He cried to God, and God heard him and answered all that he requested from God. So even if things happens to us, because I don't know, it concerns me a lot to have many options of trying to deliver ourselves or to cleanse ourselves, because we're supposed to look at one thing, which is the cross where Jesus Christ hung. But once we start having so many solutions, it's worrisome, because if a human being can be able to deposit something in us that will cause us not to live our full potential as God intended, how much more when now we purposely get up and go seek for help? If we were a victim of something that we did not invite in our lives, where we will think God should protect us, how much more when we get up and go out and look for the solution for ourselves?
Yeah. Hendy, maybe just to take us a little bit back, all right? Like there are such stories, but I also believe that a number of people, it was basically an abomination that you should sleep with a woman before you actually get married to them, unless they were a prostitute, all right?
Yeah.
So in essence, I mean, look at the story of Jesus and Mary and Joseph. Joseph made a commitment that he will marry Mary, all right?
Yeah.
But obviously he was actually surprised that now this woman is actually pregnant, all right?
Mm.
But of course, God had to send a message to him to say, you're not going to leave this woman.
Yeah.
Because he's carrying purpose, and more so because you're rightfully are in a position to be able to help in terms of this thing to actually begin to unfold. So
Yes.
that is why he had to run away to Egypt. But I suppose a lot of Bible stories or Bible incidences, most of them are actually being married, except those that most probably they were taken as concubines. I suppose a woman would actually begin to agree. I mean, in the story of Jacob, where he actually, because the other woman could not be able to give birth, but the other one, much as they were able to give birth, they still wanted. She wanted a family on his side, or on her side, to be able to grow. So he was also allowed to have what we call a concubine. So I'm just saying to you that we realize that even Jacob had to marry. Isaac had to marry, because they had to send a servant to go and fetch a wife or marry for him with a dowry of whatever camels and whatsoever and whatever, so that she's able to be a wife too. So I suppose we might, and maybe it works, but we might as well be in a position where we think about, but we are not told of the marriage. All right. I suppose when you read the book of Hosea, you realize they say the partner was selling, even was selling for sex, and yet he's married to a priest or even a prophet to say. So, but we are not told that they married,
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, I think maybe at some point it is an issue of saying we would understand that they are married, and precisely because people will never get into an engagement. That is why it becomes a an oddity that somebody's child has actually slept with another man without them being married. I suppose
Yeah.
not that it did not happen, but I suppose it is the thinking around why the marriage is not even actually being mentioned.
Can I clarify something regarding what Else Charity asked, Uncle?
All right.
Else Charity, I wanted to make an example where Jesus sent out the 12 to everywhere, and then they were trying to pray and remove demons, and then there was this one they couldn't, right? Remember? And
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Jesus came and then he removed it. And then they asked
Yeah.
him, how come we could not do this? And then he
Mm.
says, this kind comes only through prayer and fasting. This
Yeah.
is why I was saying, ukuthi, Tina,
Fine.
we
Yeah.
normally, as Christians, we think ukuthi one prayer can break chains. But there are
No.
some
Yeah.
things that we need to do to go deeper in the spirit, where we
Yeah.
have to be by ourselves and fast and pray. And when we're saying what you are fasting and praying, you are fasting so that your physical shuts down, so that your
Yeah.
spiritual can be fully awake, and then you can be
Mm.
able to hear and receive whatever God is saying you must do at that moment. Uzothola ukuthi God is saying nje at that moment ukuthi uyabona khona manje, this is the time you are not going to fight. Put down all your weapons. I'm fighting for
Yeah.
you. And then go to sleep. And then you're done. I'm not
Yeah.
saying go and look for formulas. There's formulas, and then you go to this person, you are looking for 5 steps to do what? 5 steps to do what?
Mm.
No.
Mm.
Each and every person is given the power to be able to
Yes.
connect to Holy Spirit. This is my
Yes.
point. Each and every one of us is given that power. And you are able, if you, that this is why I was saying pure intentions. People misunderstand pure. The word pure is when you are after God in everything, you are able to receive through, because you are a pure connection. Nothing is
Yeah.
hindering you. We understand. This is why
Yeah.
other people, because they are not able to reach that state, go to other people so that they can get help or seek the help
Help. Yeah.
that they want.
Yeah.
It is not to say go
Yeah.
and look for izinto that you can now start using. No, 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 no. I was not
Yeah.
saying that. I just wanted to clarify that. Ukuthi
No,
sometimes it
thank
is
you.
through Yiti. It is us who has to do the work.
My
Yeah.
battery is
No, thanks.
becoming low. Yeah. Let me shift a little.
I think Uyingoma, she's been sitting
Right.
there for a very long time.
Yeah.
Charity.
Uncle B.
Maybe to say we remember that we are also having a number of people that do not necessarily believe in what we actually believe, and we are talking about a subject that also is kind of affecting them, and most probably they would actually be able to speak their side of the story. But we are not
Yes.
necessarily saying, I think where we're at, we are not saying that we believe and agree with what, but it is their choice that they actually have. All right. So I remember when I started, I said to people that, by the way, I'm a Christian, and I not only do I believe in Christ, but I've accepted Christ, because believing in Him, it's another thing. Accepting Him, it's
Yeah.
also another thing. All right.
Yes.
So we're just saying, Uti, for all intents and purpose of the discussion, we are also learning what other people are actually doing. That's basically what I'm saying. All right.
Okay. No, thank you for
Yeah.
that clarification.
Yeah. So
Okay.
can
No,
we allow Ingoma to be able to highlight
yes.
what she needs to? Ingoma.
Hi, Uncle B. Yo.
Hi, ma'am.
I first of all, I would like to address this thing, Oguti. As much as as much as there might be an Islamic person, there might be a Christian
Yeah.
person, Hindu, There might be a traditionalist, which I am. One thing that also traditionalists become stubborn with is that belief is one, practice might differ.
Yeah.
That's what we can take from this life, that practice is one. Okay. But I wanted to say that belief is one, practice might be different. We pray to one God, but I might choose not to kneel down like another person. I might choose to manifest with my words. I might choose to manifest with ukchisimpepo, to use a different candle, certain things. So this live is bringing light to certain things that happen in our society, but we are unaware of. And I remember someone, if it's not Michelle, but there is someone that said, then we need constant cleansing. Yes, you need constant cleansing. A person that is a spiritual vampire can literally prey on your spirit by just looking into your eyes. They don't necessarily only need to exchange sexually. They just need to into abahamba nayo, abanye abantu bacaba, abanye abantu basebenzisa imithi. Lento le ahamba nayo might see you and say, look at them in the eye. There's a lot that happens. Another question that I wanted to clarify was, what happens then with a person that did not consent in a case of rape? Unfortunately, Stano Sami, the more you sit on that pain, the more they thrive in it. The more you don't speak about it, the more they thrive in it, because it's a thing of feeding as quick as possible, draining as quick as possible. And the more vulnerable you are, the more they thrive on your vulnerability. I remember one person said, let's remember that our society, so now our economy is making these cults, if I were to just say the proper word, thrive, is because of our economical environment. So now you have young women who have no choice but to be blessees. You have men who feed on other people's energy, so they thrive on your vulnerability. And Wong's asked another question, which you answered, but I want to answer another perspective on it, that unfortunately in our society, we were, especially us as young women, we were taught that sex is to gift a man for pursuing you as a woman. We were not taught the main use for sex, which is manifestation. Hence, most of the time, these men that thrive on preying on these young women, they make sure that you sleep with them once, they use it. Because when now you are naive, you don't know. You assuming that by his good behavior, ayingizolala naye choma. But yena, he knows that for him, it's prayer. I can speak on just on few elements that I know in traditional practices, where you will find. Hence, it's also very important to pray as much as possible. How you pray, it doesn't matter. You pray for a partner, because you'll find other women that are married to a man that they love, but only to find that this man is also preying on them. There's another thing which you'll find young men, the minute they come across a woman which they don't know ukuthi inhlanhla yakhe injani, bazogijimela ezangomeni with your picture and whatnot, because now they want to know what are you coming with in their own lineage, in whatever that they want to pursue in their lives, so that you leave and become a slave of what they have vowed to. So prayer is very important. You say hi to someone and you find that you like them. You pray first and ask for a spirit of discernment. How is that spirit of discernment? Another person can say, "Itonga lami" or "Idlozi lami." It's the Holy Spirit, it's Allah, it doesn't matter. We need to pray. And we also need to pray for young women who also have found themselves in this constant neediness of this money, this lifestyle, because a lot of them, that is why they always prey onto young women, because they're not really informed and they don't know about any spirit of discernment, so they look and I said on my comments, they look for specific women, hence they will not go for a prostitute. They will not go for a woman that just advertises herself. Hence, you will find other older women who pimp these young girls, because they will tell this woman, "I want a fresh blood." And they will also specify to that woman that pimped them, okay, these are the specifications that I need. So yeah, that's my 2 cents, Uncle B.
Ingoma, thanks. I suppose we would certainly be able to agree to say people pray, and others would actually question, what is that you're praying to when God says that I am the only God you need to ask of me, not any other. All right. So that would then say, for somebody else might actually be saying that, okay, which means we are not even supposed to go to the without opening a can of worms. Maybe somebody would actually be thinking, and maybe correct there if you need to. Somebody is thinking that if I go to the created and not go to the creator, then there might be an element of error in a process. But still, people still believe that they are praying, when the same God that we think we are praying to is actually saying that this is not what you need to do. Because remember, it's also the level and the interpretation of that scripture that people would actually go to and begin to read. But people would then go to a level of saying, this is what I will do, and this is what I will not do from this particular Bible. But there are things that are basically becoming foundations in terms of Christianity that we cannot be able to do, precisely because this is what God is actually saying in His Word. So I'm just saying that we might be thinking that we are praying to the same God, but in accordance to someone's understanding, he says, no, but yes. I don't think we pray to the same God, because the truth of the matter is, without sounding very negative or even judgmental, but
yes,
I would read and I would hear that Catholic, it's Christianity. I honestly speaking, I find myself battling with that. All right,
it's not.
It's not Christianity at all.
It's not,
because they still pray to the dead. All right, they still they still go to a point where they bow to idols, which is, and I also understand where they come from, because they've incorporated what they used to believe in before they become Christians into Christianity. All right.
Okay.
That is why
Understood.
that is why what they did for them, for this religion of theirs to be able to operate, what they had to do is they needed to move away the Bible from people to be able to read for themselves. And in actual fact, if you look at African tradition or native practices, let me not even say African tradition, because you go to the islands, they are doing the same things that African traditionalists are actually doing. So
Yes.
I'm just saying that when you look at them as well, you realize that they used to follow, they used to pray, if I should use that word, to idols, different gods. The Greeks as well, they would pray to different gods because they believe that every other god has a role in a certain thing, whether it be the god of marriage, god of this, god of that. And that is why
Yep.
a number of people as well who are practicing such, they would go and quote the scripture in First Corinthians, I think chapter 12, if I'm not mistaken, where it
Mm-hmm.
begins to say the gift come from the Holy Spirit. And the Holy Spirit never gives you gifts that are actually directly opposite to what God actually wants.
Yes.
All right. So I think
Yes.
we must be agreeing on that on that issue. And
Yes, we
maybe
agree
just
fully.
to highlight, I'm left with 2%. I'm not so sure there is a load shedding. Which I need to check. All right. But I wanted us to be able to say most probably Bongs can be able to, or even Michelle be able to host this one if they're in a better position to be able to do so. But for now, let me also hasten to be able to land this plane so that even as we move, at least in this case, we did what we could in terms of being able to say, okay, this is what we have actually learned. If it's okay, Bongs.
I just have a quick question, Uncle B, and I'm hoping maybe when you have battery life, you will respond on the
Yeah,
part where Catholics are worshiping idols or
yeah,
not. They are not truly Christians. I need a bit of elaboration on that one. But in all context of the bulk of what was discussed today, I have taken away that to be a blessee,
yeah,
it might really be something negative in the
yeah,
human context, but your
yeah.
relationship with God, that's a different and true version, right? But I will emphasize on Yingoma's point earlier about being more concerned about your surname, which is your lineage, not necessarily isibongo, like an
Yeah.
actual surname, but the lineage and your
Bongs.
that cut off there. When it
Okay.
comes to these soul ties that we're talking about, what I've also just be in constant prayer mode. And I'm taking what again Usisi Ngoma and the other ladies that were here is that be in a constant state of cleansing in a prayer mode so that you repel these things before they get to you, where you have to now physically go do the action of cleansing. But I'm not clear on the Catholic, and that's just my question there. Thanks, Uncle.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for wrapping up. I suppose, Michelle, is there something that you could actually be able to lay before it is off?
I don't know anything about the Catholics. I will not speak on that.
No, no, no,
But
no,
I will,
not on the Catholic. I'll
I'm
answer
just
that one.
just to Okay, fine. Okay, wrapping up. I wanted to say it is very important for each and every human being to have a relationship with the Creator, because where we come from is the only place where we can receive knowledge and truth about who we are and where we're going. About the lineage, it is important to
Yeah.
understand where you come from in your lineage so that you can understand whether it is generational curses or generational blessings, what is going on with you, because sometimes we fight battles that we don't understand because we do not seek understanding and we continue to perish. So for each and every human being, I think what we can take from this live is that going forth, that we do not take lightly the contracts that we do in the physical and in the spiritual, because they will affect us and delay or derail our path where we're going. Because whoever that you are connecting with, you do not, we unfortunately, unlike the physical realm, we cannot see the spiritual realm ukuthi lo muntu lona uphethe ini, unless you have a discernment, which is a very, very important tool to have if you are a praying person. Shirley, it's Michelle. um, and I want us to understand ukuthi as human beings and as spiritual beings, our creator is our foundation. And whatever that we do, it will always reflect who we are and why we are created to be here and what we are here to do. In the space of blesser and blessee, and we are all living in the same umbrella, which is called earth. And in the times that we're in, every bit of struggle is causing us to turn away from who we know we are and what we know, because the danger of hunger, it will cause you to be so desperate that you are willing to sell even your birthright or even your soul just to get the plate of meal. Let us not forget who we are. This is why